Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by
Bell Tire.
Tonight the Tigers send right-hander Aníbal Sanchez to the mound, and since returning from the minor leagues, Sanchez has been awfully good as a starter. An ERA shade over 4. He will get the call tonight on a great night for baseball here in the Motor City. We welcome him to Comerica Park. It'll be game 2 in this series featuring the Detroit Tigers and the Kansas City Royals. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Tampa alongside Ron Allen. Glad to have you with us for the Tigers and Royals tonight. Sanchez on the hill, Ron. When you look at what Sanchez has done, he went down to the minor leagues, got a few things straightened out, and really the results have been pretty good.
You know, his starts have been very competitive since coming back from the minor leagues. Everybody he's gone up against, he's been able to go out there and pretty much pitch into the 6th inning for the Tigers. He'll have to be very good tonight because this Kansas City Royals team, they're on a roll. They've won 7 straight.
And especially a guy in the middle of their lineup, Eric Hosmer. We have seen enough of Hosmer to really rust up the rest of the year. But when you look at Hosmer, he's done it with the glove, with the bat, and especially in this series.
You know, one thing about Eric Hosmer, I've loved this guy since he came to the big leagues 6 years ago. He can do everything. This guy hits for power. Most of his power is the opposite way. His batting average when hitting the ball the opposite way this year is over 400. When he pulls the ball, he's hitting 209. So guess what? He's done a whole lot of. He's hit the ball the opposite way. And in last night's game, he pretty much beat the Tigers by himself. Solid base hit up the middle. That was against Michael Fulmer. It was a ball up the middle. Then he went first to third on a ball that most guys don't go first to third on. And then he came home to score. But this is not where it stops with Eric Hosmer. He also has a wonderful glove. He made 2 tremendous picks in last night's game. You can argue he was a difference maker in last night's contest. This was that final out of the 8th inning, that very, very difficult double play that Victor Martinez hit into. So love Eric Hosmer. This Kansas City Royals team is rolling. Aníbal Sanchez is going to have to be on point tonight.
All right, Tigers trying to get a win. The series finale just minutes away. We'll send you after a brief timeout to the Call Sam Studios. Chad Keating standing by. Well, coming up, we're all impressed with Alex Presley has been on point for the Tigers this year. Stay with us. Tigers Royals, final game of the series, coming up next. Anybody, but Ian Kennedy can be tough and has been tough lately. KC has won 7 of his 8 starts in the last 4 road starts. Kennedy has an ERA of 2.45. Quick pop back into the Call Sam studio. John Keating with you just before game time. The Tigers and Royals getting set to do battle. Last week, Detroit was 6-2 in the season series against Kansas City, but the Royals have won 4 in a row to even the season series at 6 apiece, and Detroit knows they have to homer. When they fail to hit a homer in a game this season, they're just 2-27. And as always, if Detroit combines for 3 or more bombs, you can bring in a copy of the box score to a participating Arby's location tomorrow and get a free small order of curly fries. You can find a copy of the box score in your newspaper or on the Tigers page at foxsportsdetroit.com. Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank, a part of Detroit and the community since 1849. By Chrysler, make the most of your summer with a brand new vehicle at the Chrysler Summer Clearance Event. And by Kroger, with low prices and weekly deals, saving is easy at Kroger. Wednesday night baseball just around the corner. City Tigers and Royals wrapping up this series. Tigers hoping for at least a win in this series, and they're counting on Anibal Sanchez tonight. He is presented by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
And 5 days ago, Anibal Sanchez, he won against the Minnesota Twins in Minnesota. He pitched 5 2/3 that day. Good fastball, getting up to 93 these days. He's got a slider. He's got a curveball, but the changeup has been the one weapon he has really used well since coming back from the minors.
And it'll be Whit Merrifield to lead things off for the Royals tonight. Merrifield homered in the first pitch of the ball game last night and sent the Royals to a 1-0 lead. And Royals would eventually go on to win the game. 1 ball and 1 strike on Merrifield. Whit is batting .291. He's had himself a really solid year. 11 home runs. A couple of hits in this series. Now Sanchez ready with the 1-1 pitch. And it's a bit outside. 2 balls and 1 strike on Merrifield.
You brought this up earlier when we were talking about Merrifield before the game. The fact that he spent 8 years in the minor leagues before coming to the big leagues. One of the reasons why he knows how to play the game. This guy's a good baseball player.
There are a couple of guys that have been able to do that. You know, Nelson Cruz, another guy that spent a lot of years in the minors before he blossomed.
Late bloomer for sure.
Merrifield had about 2,800 at bats in the minor leagues.
That's a lot.
Here's the 2-2, and it's lifted foul, back out of play. Matt Shepard will have a really cool story on Merrifield a little bit later in the broadcast tonight. Whit's father Bill played in the minor leagues as well. Really cool story coming up. Merrifield in the month of July, 326. He's been one of their better hitters. 2-2 is lined to center field. That's a base hit. And the Royals get the leadoff man on. Here's the rest of the KC lineup tonight, presented by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. You saw Merrifield lead it off with a base hit. Bonifacio will follow, and he's been a hot bat as well. Then Lorenzo Cain, Hosmer, Moustakas, and Moss in the middle of their lineup tonight. Escobar, Gordon, and Butera. Salvador Perez, a sore side, came out of the ball game last night, is not playing tonight.
Anibal Sanchez is going to have to keep Merrifield close at first base. Merrifield has 16 steals. He's been caught once this season. I'm sure the Royals will try to run against Anibal tonight.
Bonifacio, 263. He's had a big series. Of course, he had that big throw from right field late in last night's game. That's in there, a strike call, 0-1.
Did you see Merrifield on that last delivery?
Did not.
He was 5 steps towards second base before he stopped. He was on the running, and then he was all the way out here and stopped.
See if he's on the move here. Instead, he'll draw a throw.
He has such a good jump, he scared himself.
Well, that guy behind the plate can throw some guys out. James McCann. The 0-1 does the same thing. Quick throw back to first, and he just got back. But Merrifield took about a 3 or 4 step lead and then skidded to a stop.
It's the exact same thing that he did on the previous pitch. I'm wondering whether he felt like he didn't get a good enough jump to try to steal that base. This much we do know. If he's going to steal successfully, yeah, he better go, because James McCann has got an outstanding arm.
He's out.
Well, you think he was out?
Yeah, I do.
It looked like to me Miggy missed him.
I think he got him. We'll see. And the Tigers very quickly decided they want to challenge this.
This much I do know. Had Miggy turned around and looked at him, he clearly would have tagged him. Miggy wasn't looking, and he did a tag.
So what's going on with Merrifield, man? That's 2 straight where he just kind of came to a skidding stop.
Take a look at Miggy here. If he turns and looks, he might have been able to get that right arm.
Can't tell from that angle. The other angle we had right here, right there, he's out.
He got him on the forearm.
Don't you think?
It looks like it.
Yeah,
it looks like it. Yeah, you can see the glove change directions.
Right. They just showed it on the big board here at the ballpark, and I don't think Merrifield wanted to look at it. I think he knows he's probably out. Here we go. Yep, you're out at first base. Nice job by McCann. It's a good challenge there by the Tigers. Base is empty now. 1 ball, 1 strike on Bonifacio. Ripped foul down the left field line.
Let's go back to a throw that James McCann made just a couple of days ago. I don't know if you guys saw this, but the kid was running from Granite, center fielder, with good speed. He was halfway to second base when McCann got the ball in his glove, and somehow James able to throw him out. An unbelievable throw by James McCann from the knees.
Popped up. Cabrera coming in, calling. And there are 2 gone.
And while we have a moment, let's set Tigers defensive alignment behind Anibal Sanchez. Left to right, they've got Upton, they've got Matuk and Presley in the outfield. Castellanos, Iglesias, Kinsler, Miguel Cabrera in the infield, and James McCann is behind the dish. Second consecutive game he's been behind the plate.
That'll bring up Lorenzo Cain now with the bases empty. Cain at 264 with 11 home runs. He's knocked in 30 this year. And Sanchez missing low and away. Hannibal came into this game 6-4 career against the Royals, an ERA in the 2s. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Cain fouls it off the end of the bat. 2-1 on Lorenzo. He sits safely in 5 of 6. Cain only a couple of hits in this series. They've got Hosmer lurking on deck. Lifted foul back out of play. 2-2. Kennedy, the right-hander, getting set to do battle tonight for the Royals. He will make the start for KC. Waiting his turn.
Veteran right-hander.
Here's the 2-2. That floats outside.
There's that real slow changeup. That one registered 67 miles an hour.
High fly ball left field. Upton started back. Now he comes in, and that is that for the Royals. No runs, a hit, nobody left. James McCann picks up Whit Merrifield. Whit's bumming. Royals wrapping up this series, and here is the Tigers starting lineup tonight, presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. It'll be Kinsler, Presley, and Upton in the top 3 spots. Miguel Cabrera batting cleanup. Castellanos trying to bust out of a slump. And Vimar at the DH. Matuk, McCann, Iglesias rounded out for the Tigers. Facing Ian Kennedy tonight, presented by MGM Grand Detroit.
And Kennedy making his 19th start of this season for the Kansas City Royals. He's won 3, he's lost 6. He's had a lot of success in this particular ballpark. Fastball gets up to 93, 94. He's throwing more breaking balls these days. He has a slider, he has a curve, and also a changeup, part of his 4-pitch mix.
Kinsler getting it started for the Tigers, batting .246. And Ian looks at ball one. Ian Kennedy out of Huntington Beach, California, goes 6 feet, 200-pounder. Here's the 1-0. It'll dive low. 2 balls and no strikes on Kinsler.
The batting average against Kennedy is only .214, which is second best in the American League. He'll give up some home runs, but he does not give up many hits.
He's gone 3-0 now on Kinsler. Presley batting in the 2 slot here tonight for the Tigers. Here's the 3-0. And he walked him on 4 straight.
Let's take a look at the Royals defense, brought to you by Tim Hortons. Escobar, Merrifield up the middle, Moose and Hosmer on the corners in the infield. Drew Buter, Sal's his daddy. Buter catching here tonight. Gordon, Kane, and Bonifacio in the outfield.
So now Presley. I'm not sure Sal would be able to catch these days.
No, he can't catch anymore.
Alex showing bunt, and there's 5 straight that have missed the strike zone now from Kennedy.
And Presley had his 10-game hit streak snapped last night. He had just 1 at bat. He was a pinch hitter. During that streak, 429 was Alex Presley.
Yeah, he was awfully good.
Banging, slapping that ball to left field.
That's in there, a strike called, 1-1. It's always amazing as you look at the umpiring crew tonight. DJ Rayburn behind the plate. Presley down in the minor leagues before he was called up was in the low 200s at Toledo, and lo and behold, he comes to the big leagues, and he's been putting on a show with the bat. The 1-1 popped up left side of the infield. It's going to be Escobar, the shortstop. 1 away. Well, last night in our behind the scenes telecast, we showed you the Tigers video room. That's David Allende there. He's one of the guys responsible for looking at all the replays along with Matt Martin. They decide whether or not they want to challenge, and those 2 guys teamed up apparently here and had a good call back in the top of this inning to get Merrifield.
Yeah. Did you know that the command center was in Chelsea, New York? Did you know that?
No, I did not.
And something else I learned today watching a game on television, the umpires here, when they put the headset on, there is no conversation with the umpires in the command center in Chelsea.
Yeah, that I knew.
They're simply told what the play is and what to review, but as far as like back and forth conversation, there's none of that.
Again, DJ Rayburn is your home plate ump. Sam Holbrook, who is at first tonight, is the crew chief. And the crew chief is always involved in every replay or every challenge. 0-1 on Upton. Kinsler gets back.
I told you that Kennedy will give up a lot of homers. He's given up 19 this year so far, but 12 of those are solo shots. So the home run ball really not hurting him all that much this season.
One ball, 1 strike.
Got a pretty high leg kick, but apparently Ian Kinsler not in a running mood. At least he hasn't shown to be very aggressive over at first base here in the first inning.
Perez not playing tonight. You got Butera behind the dish. We know Perez being one of the elite catchers in the American League, throwing out runners. 1-1 is swung on and missed. 1-2 now on J-Up.
And Kennedy throwing lots of breaking balls these days. With 2 strikes, if you're J-Up, you can't look for it, as we get a look at Salvador Perez. All-star catcher. Great leader for the Kansas City Royals behind the plate.
Fouled away. Butera this year behind the dish has thrown out just 1 of 12, so that's a little bit over 8%. Ian this year with 7 steals. He's been caught 4 times. The 1-2. Upton takes low. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 8-gamer now for Justin Upton, hitting .324 here in the month of July. Tigers have had a couple of guys that have really swung the bats well this month as we march toward August. Outside, full count now, 3-2.
And we'll see if Kinsler would be on the move here.
Cabrera waiting on deck. Runner holds, and his strike 3 called. Upton is caught looking on a pitch right at the bottom of the strike zone.
I don't know what J. Up was looking for, whether he thought it was low or not, but it's a 4-seam fastball, 93 at the bottom of the strike zone, and probably too close to take if you're Justin.
So with 2 outs, here is Cabrera. Miguel 3 hits in the series. He's also had an RBI. Miggy in the ballgame last night had a pair of singles. One of them was an infield hit. Trying to get things rolling again. He has been stymied the last 3 weeks. Breaking ball missing outside.
And Miggy with that bloop single that he got in his first at bat last night was hit number 2,600. 2,600 hits in his career. That's a lot of knocks, partner.
It is that he continues to reach different plateaus. He also reached the 1,600 RBI plateau this year. Also 1,000 extra base hits. Driven foul down the right field line, 1-1.
We told you that Kennedy's given up 19 home runs this year, 12 of those solo, and one of those courtesy of our very own Miguel Cabrera. He got him back in June when Kansas City made a visit here.
You get the feeling that Cabrera just needs to drive a ball deep to just kind of get it jump started.
Get that feeling back.
Yeah. All it takes is just one.
Well, he was out early today taking some batting practice. Brad Ausmus was throwing about 2 o'clock this afternoon.
Popped up. First base side, Hosmer. No room.
And so Miggy clearly today out trying to figure out some things. Here's a little bit of that early batting practice session today with Miguel Cabrera and the manager.
Basic, doesn't matter how long you've been in the big leagues, how much you've accomplished. This game every now and then will get you. It will humble you.
You got that right, partner.
Here's the 1-2, and he fought that one off.
That's where a lot of pitchers have thrown Miguel a lot this year. Fastballs above the belt buckle inside. It's one of the pitches that he doesn't handle very well. If you look at his hot and cold zone, the number will tell you that. Up and in is where you pitch Miguel, but a lot of guys do not handle the ball up and in. The key is you have to lay off that ball that's a couple of inches off the plate inside, because it's very difficult to get to. Usually that's the pitch that breaks your bat.
Got him in the outside corner, strike 3, and Cabrera, and his frustrations continue. He thought that ball was a little bit wide, and he's kind of beside himself right now. No runs, a walk, and 1 man left. 1 in the books here at Comerica. No score. Game here at the ballpark tonight. Stay tuned to Tigers Live following the game, where we select the Fox Sports Detroit Tigers player of the game. It's presented by McDonald's. Stop by for your breakfast favorites, now being served all day. And so that's coming up after the telecast here tonight, courtesy of McDonald's, our player of the game.
We were talking about the Kansas City Royals offense and how aggressive they are. They swing at the first pitch 33% of the time, which is third most in the major leagues. A lot of times when you throw them a strike, they don't get cheated. And especially this guy right here.
The fewest amount of walks in all of baseball for the Royals. They're out there hacking. 1 ball to no strikes on Hosmer. That'll miss low, 2-0.
I got another number on them too, Mario. They swing at 78% strikes. 78% of the strikes they get, they swing at, which is the most in the majors. So any strike, usually these guys are swinging the stick, regardless of the pitch.
Now Sanchez has gone 3-0.
Yeah, be careful here. More and more guys are starting to swing 3-0. We've seen a bunch of it the last week.
Agreed. You think that's a trend around the league now?
Yeah, I think so, man, because it's up to about 12% now. It was 7% last year.
He'll take it's a strike call.
And the batting average right around 400 when guys are swinging 3-0 this year, and usually it's not that good.
Little looper toward third base on a short hop. Castellanos can't play it, and Hosmer is on. Leadoff man aboard for the Royals.
And Hosmer just getting hits any kind of way these days.
It's the second straight inning now. KC with the leadoff man on. Leadoff single. Pretty good since the beginning of May.
Altuve, he'll be here on Friday. How about that list? 3 Houston Astros on that list. Correa on the disabled list.
Houston coming to town Friday, Saturday, Sunday here at the ballpark. Ball 1 to Moustakas.
Hosmer has 4 steals himself this year. And he's a different kind of first baseman. He can run. He's an athlete. 4 steals. He hasn't been caught.
Foul back.
Would you say Hosmer is a 5-tool player? I mean, and I say that only because we don't usually say that about first basemen.
Can run, can hit with power.
He can defend. And he's a fearless thrower.
And he's a good thrower. Yeah, I guess you'd probably have to put him in that category.
And you don't, I mean, how many other first basemen would you say are 5-tool players? Paul Goldschmidt?
Yeah, I think mostly, you're right. You talk about outfielders being 5 tools. A little broken bat looper towards second, and that's going to send Hosmer back to the bag. 1 gone. 1 away. It'll bring up Brandon Moss. Well, if Perez was playing tonight, I would think that Ned Yost again would have had the same lineup for the 3rd consecutive day, and that's something you've noticed, Rod. Of all the teams we have seen, Ned Yost rarely makes any changes in his lineup.
Consistent. And left-handers or right-handers, he puts the same guys in the same spot. Merrifield, Bonifacio, Kane, Hosmer, Perez, Moustakas. Same lineup.
Well, we know the upside of that. Guys know their roles. They know where they are in the lineup. But the downside can be guys need to rest every now and then, don't they?
And it's so rare nowadays, Mario, because with all the analytics in the game these days.
Runner goes. McCann again from his knees, this time tardy.
I don't know if Hosmer guessed that Sanchez was going to throw that really slow pitch. I don't know if he could see McCann's signs or not. But he sure did pick the right pitch to run on to steal his 5th base of the season. I mean, he took off and really not even close. But I was getting ready to say, with all the analytics in the game today, you would think that more teams, and Kansas City would be the team that would play matchups more.
Sure.
But they don't play the matchups. They same lineup.
Again, it floats outside. That changeup at 68 from Sanchez.
Anibal can't fall in love with that slow pitch here today. He's already thrown it a bunch here, and one of these times he's going to leave one up, and one of these guys is going to be sitting on it. So you can't be too giddy with that La Mariposa, that butterfly changeup. Here's the scouting report on Anibal Sanchez. We talked about the changeup. It ranges from 64 to 87. We've seen it range several speeds in that range. 176 is the opponent average against him with 2 strikes. Fastball usage 57%. Uses his changeup more than the slider and the curveball.
Got him swinging. Boss down on strikes. First strikeout of the ball game for Sanchez. He's going to bring up Escobar.
And here's that changeup. Circle change. Came off the fingertips nicely, and just by the pressure points that Anibal uses with his fingers on the baseball, he can get that changeup to dance in any direction.
Alcides at 227. In a bit of a slump right now. He is 0 for 5 in the series, 0 for 15 total, and he's trying to come up with a 2-out hit here in a scoreless game in the second. In there, a strike called on the outer edge. Escobar goes out there every single day. 271 consecutive games played for the Royals shortstop, and he's moving in on Miguel Tejada, who played in 284 straight, the longest streak since.
It gets awfully hot in Kansas City too. You would think that he would need a day off. I mean, he's not real big in stature.
Demanding position, not a big guy, but he's out there. 1 ball, 1 strike on Escobar. Hosmer at second. He singled, stole a bag. The 1-1. One ball and 2 strikes. Now Michael Fulmer trimmed up the beard.
Yeah, he did. Looked like a different guy. How good was he last night, man?
Well, he does what he does, and that's go deep into games. Another 8-inning performance from Fulmer.
Career high 23 swing and misses last night for Fulmer.
Whoa.
He was deadly last night. He really was. Said he had his best slider by far in last night's game.
But again, the Tigers just could not muster enough offense for him.
He had 6 strikeouts. All 6 of his strikeouts came on that slide piece. And after giving up the leadoff home run to Whit Merrifield, he went on to punch out 4 guys in a row.
Three and 2 now on Alcides Escobar. Gordon waiting on deck. Tigers dropped game 1 in the series 5-3 in 12 innings, and then 3-1 last night. Here's the 3-2. Fouled away.
I think we're going to have a really good pitching matchup when we get to New York on Monday night. Fulmer and Severino.
Yeah. Severino throws triple digits.
I watched him pitch today, and he is unbelievable. The Yankees play a 4-game series, so he'll get the ball on Monday against the Tigers in New York, and the Tigers have a day off, so Fulmer scheduled to pitch Monday as well.
It's a high-octane matchup.
Oh my goodness, that should be a lot of fun. I hate to look ahead.
There's a line drive to left field. It's going to drop, base hit. Hosmer will come around to score, and Escobar gets it done with a 2-out RBI single.
Yeah, just a matter of time before someone timed one of those really slow changeups or breaking balls that Anibal continues to throw. He's thrown quite a few of those through the first couple of frames. It's a changeup, and so slow that Escobar got out there, then got back, still timed it, and was able to pull the ball to left field for a single.
Third RBI of the year for Alcides Escobar.
Eric Hosmer again helping them score a run as he did in last night's game. Base hit, stole a base.
Here is Gordon now with 2 outs. Batting only .203 this year. Ball 1.
And the Kansas City Royals made a huge investment in Alex Gordon a couple of years ago when he became a free agent. But he really has not performed since signing that contract.
No, and you can understand why they made that investment. He was, and still is, an outstanding outfielder, was driving in runs, was hitting homers.
Right.
But he's been injured the last couple of years.
And they had went to the World Series. They wanted to keep that core group together. He took less to stay. But at the same time, it was a huge contract for Kansas City. There's Ned Yost, and their manager. He also was the manager of the Milwaukee Brewers once upon a time when Prince Fielder was playing for them.
Runner goes, and a double pump throw, and no chance there for McCann as that one bounces in, a stolen base.
The Kansas City Royals do not run nearly as much as they used to run as a team. They used to steal 100 bases a year, but they don't have that type of team any longer. They're hitting for much more power. But with Sanchez on the mound, we've already seen 3 guys attempt to steal. 2 of those successfully.
And now Gordon headed the count 3-0.
Oh, he swung 3-0 twice yesterday.
In there, a strike called.
Anibal knew he was swinging, so he threw him an off-speed pitch.
40 now for Sanchez. And the ratio not quite where he wants it to be yet. Now the 3-1. That'll walk him. Ball 4. 2 on now with 2 outs. First walk of the ball game for Sanchez. It'll bring up Drew Butera, and also a meeting on the mound with McCann coming out.
I don't think Alcides Escobar will steal third base here with 2 outs. But he's been very successful in his major league career doing so. He is 30 of 33, so he's only been caught 3 times when stealing third in his major league career.
Butera, the number 9 hitter, stands in. A run in for the Royals. We're in the 2nd. And down the middle it comes. A strike called. Butera batting .250, couple of homers. He came on last night after Perez was taken out of the game, had a couple of at-bats, was 0 for 2. Drew does have 1 home run against Sanchez. That was hit here a couple of years ago. Back him out of there. 1 ball and 1 strike.
And Drew Butera, born in Evansville, Indiana.
Don Mattingly's
hometown. Mark Dorsey be hanging out in Evansville, Indiana too.
1-2 on Butera. Well, Mark Dorsey, one of our great tape guys.
Yes.
On the crew. Here's the 1-2. Drill to left field, down the line. That ball is up, and it is foul. Ooh, man. That would have been disaster, giving up a 3-run shot to the number 9 hitter. Clearly curling foul. He almost got Sanchez again. 1-2. Escobar in second, Gordon at first to run in. Here's the 1-2. Bouncing ball foul, third base side, and Sanchez continues to have that pitch count elevate.
Yeah, Royals are going to get into that Tigers bullpen here today early. Sanchez has thrown 46, and ratio not very good. 26 strikes, 20 balls.
30 of the 46 here in the second inning alone. One and two on Butera. RBI single by Escobar in this inning. There go the runners, and it's fouled straight back. Escobar was breaking to third base. Sanchez, after giving up a leadoff single in the first, picked the runner off. Actually, McCann did, and he faced only 3 batters, but a very lengthy second. Swing and a miss. He finally got him. Second strikeout of the ball game. Royals settle for 1. We go to the bottom of the second.
Day in the Bronx. 7 innings pitched, 3 hits, no runs, no earned runs allowed to the Cincinnati Reds. 9 strikeouts as the Yanks won at 9-5. New York now just a game behind Boston. They're 8-5 since the All-Star game. Mario, right?
All right, Keats, thanks. Yeah, those Yankees, they made a deal to get a little bit better. Severino's been in the rotation awfully good. We'll see him on Monday.
I don't think the Yankees are done. I think the Yankees are going to make a deal. I mean, with the Chapman deal last year and the Andrew Miller deal, they have a lot of prospects in their organization, and they need another starting pitcher. They're going to do something, the Yankees.
Nick Castellanos leads it off against Ian Kennedy, and he fouls that one back out of play. Castellanos, Martinez, Matuk in the Tigers' second. Yankees have been rumored to be in the Sonny Gray sweepstakes. And there's been a lot of talk about Sonny Gray, Rod. He's a really good pitcher.
Yes,
having
he
a
is.
good year.
Yeah, he's controllable for the next couple of years before he hits the free agent market.
But he's been hurt a lot.
Yeah, I mean, that's the downside. That's the downside.
2-1 on Castellanos.
But right now, Sonny Gray pitching very well.
JV, of course, the part of the big rumor mill going on around Major League Baseball wants to get toward the trading deadline every year.
There's a lot of them in there.
Well, there was one today that came out of New York that said that the Tigers were willing to deal Michael Fulmer if the said club that would deal with them would take one of the big Tigers contracts.
Not true.
Whether Zimmerman or JV or
whomever.
I mean, it's been known for teams to try to do that from time to time.
Driven to right field toward the corner. Bonifacio will run it down. Nice play. One gone, but we have heard from General Manager Al Avila that is simply not true.
Right.
And this is what scares you this time of the year, when rumors like this start that have no basis.
There are so many out there, and the guys that are out there trying to stay ahead of the news, I guess
right.
I would say, the reporters, the newspaper guys, whatever they're doing. I mean, they try to do the best they can, and everybody wants to be first with the breaking news, and just sometimes something comes out that's not necessarily true.
Well, that report is simply not true. We can tell you that much. One away, and here is Victor.
Castellanos, after starting that road trip in Kansas City and through Minnesota, was hot. Man, he's 0 for his last 19 now.
Vivard looks at a strike.
And Victor hit into that real tough, I mean tough, double play last night.
Well, they had it played beautifully. Normally that's a double down the line. Lifted in the air towards center field. Kane is on the move. And he'll get there in the gap. 2 gone. Couple of fly ball outs for Kennedy. It'll bring up Mikey Matuk.
Kennedy has made 18 starts this year, and in 14 of the 18 starts, 6 hits or less. We told you the batting average against Kennedy coming in is just .214. The only one better than him in the American League, Chris Sale. And Corey Kluber, excuse me.
Matuk at .293 with 21 RBIs. One run, 3 hits for the Royals. Tigers, no runs, no hits. Here's the Menards big money encounter. Sale and Kluber ahead of Kennedy. The only 2 guys ahead of Kennedy with a lower opponent's batting average. Now the 1-1 on the outer edge. Good location there from the Royals right-hander. 1-2. Matuk said it beautifully last night. He took what happened and ran with it and said it was my fault, but we got a game tomorrow.
Yep.
And I got to be ready to play tomorrow. And that's what I think baseball players have to do more than any other sport, because of the volume of games. Put last night behind them.
He owned it. He knew he'd be back in the starting lineup again today. And Mikey said the one thing he wished he would have done, and he normally does it, is he turns around to look and see where the outfielders are playing after every single pitch. He said he did not do it that time, therefore did not know that that ball that's normally a double down the right field line was going to be caught by Bonifacio, because he was playing over by the line.
To shallow center field for Kane. 3 fly ball outs here in the second for Kennedy. Here is Chevrolet's most dependable player, Whit Merrifield. Right now we're talking about this young man a little bit earlier, and boy, what a year he has had this year.
He leads major leagues with 17 extra base hits in this particular month, 11 doubles already. Career against the Tigers, 333. So he's been real good against Detroit pitching.
We'll get it rolling here in the third. Merrifield, Bonifacio, and Kane facing the right-handed offerings of Anibal Sanchez, who gave up a single to driving a run to Escobar. Let's check in now with Matt Shepard.
Mario, great story about Whit Merrifield. His father, Bill, was a career minor league player, and he got an opportunity to make a major league debut and play for Jim Leyland and the Pittsburgh Pirates when he was traded from the Angels to the Pirates in 1987. He showed up at Three Rivers Stadium, but the rain was in the forecast and rained the game out, spoiling what would have been his major league debut at first base. The next day, he was sent back down to the instructional league. He was injured, and then the next year, he retired to have a family. His son, Whit, was born that January, and now Whit is a big leaguer. His father, Bill, is his personal hitting instructor. How cool is that? It's
a really cool story, Shep. And Whit Merrifield, we were talking about him as you see this infield base hit that he'll get here. 2,800 at-bats in the minor leagues. He's not a guy, Rod, that was a big-time prospect. He put his time in.
He has gotten and deserves everything he's been given right now with the Kansas City Royals. He's got an opportunity to play. He's taken over the second base position. And the Royals look poised to try to get back to the postseason again this year.
But how would you like to be his dad, Bill? You get the big league call-up. You're in the starting lineup. It starts raining. The rained out.
That's a tough one.
And now he goes down to the minor leagues, never to be heard from again.
Never made it back.
It's too bad.
That's a tough one.
But they both share a lot of major league experiences because Whit talks to his dad every morning after a game about his at-bats. That's still kind of cool. Yeah, doesn't live vicariously through his son. He's just there to help him. I love it.
By the way, Shep, tremendous work last night in the behind-the-scenes telecast, man. You were all all over this ballpark.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun,
guys.
He
was a star
you know
last
what?
night.
Could not have done it without you guys. That is not easy for you guys because you guys get in a rhythm, but you guys handled it like the true pros. Thanks a lot.
Are you going to be replacing first base again tonight?
I am not. They asked me if I want to replace second base. I said I'll be sucking blueberries on the way back. No way.
I always thought that John Keating was the hardest working man in show business. And John, John still works hard, but
he does.
He works hard. But last night, Shep, I got home and turned on the post-game show, and he was sitting on the set with Keating and Craig Monroe.
You got home that fast?
The post-game show.
Oh man!
I'm like, Shep, boy, you ought to stop. You gonna make us all look bad.
That Corvette hits the lodge at 85.
Nice. Bonifacio, the batter, and that is a balk on Sanchez. That'll advance the runner. Anibal shaking his head no.
Well, Anibal knows that these guys are going to run. I'm not sure what he did there, but more than likely he probably did not come to a complete stop. Probably just came to an imaginary stop and then threw the ball home. We'll see on the replay. Yeah, it was a little bit. I mean, couldn't tell really what happened here.
First balk of the year for Sanchez. Not sure I saw it. Bonifacio tries to bunt. 1 ball, 1 strike. He popped up in his first at bat. He's got good power. Hit 19 homers last year in the minor leagues. In the big leagues this year, 14 of them now, including a home run in game 1 in this series. Did he go? Did not. 2 balls and 1 strike.
A huge hole on the left side of the infield. Castellanos is kind of hugging the line. Iglesias' job is to keep Merrifield close at second base. A lot of room on that left side for Bonifacio. He's in a fastball friendly count as well, which doesn't mean he's going to get one though.
Ground ball, base hit, left field.
How about that?
Let's see if they try and score the run. They're going to send him home. Upton's throw coming to the plate, not in time. On to second goes Bonifacio. And the Royals have a 2-0 lead.
Just making the comment about the huge hole on the left side of the infield because Iglesias holding on the base runner in a 2-1 count. It appeared to be a fastball that Bonifacio got from Sanchez and hit the ball right through right in the hole.
Merrifield comes around to score, so the balk turns out to be huge. And Bonifacio takes second on the throw, and so he is in scoring position now for Lorenzo Cain.
Is it just me, Mario, or are these Kansas City Royals on a mission?
It seems like it. You know, ever since coming back, the Tigers won the first 2 in that series in KC. They got that big walk-off win.
And they've been rolling ever since.
They really have.
They were struggling before that. They had dropped 7 of 8. And it looked like they were going to drop another game.
Last 7 games, this is what they've done offensively.
Run differential plus 24. Batting average nearly 300.
Cabrera thought about going to third. He'll take the out at first base, advance the runner.
But how about all the power that they're hitting for?
See, you've been watching these Royals now the last couple of days. They seem to be playing with a little bit of a different look in their eye.
Well, they're definitely playing with a lot of confidence, guys, and give their core group, core guys, a lot of credit, and that would be Hosmer and Moustakas, obviously Salvador Perez. The one guy that you really want to focus on is Hosmer, though. Eric Hosmer is their leader.
Which means they got to walk him, see?
In their clubhouse, guys, also on the field. He makes coming to the ballpark, talking with the guys today, he makes coming to the ballpark fun.
Infield coming in now with the runner at third and 1 out. Hosmer shoots a ground ball into right field, a base hit. That'll score another run. Hosmer's second hit of the game now, 3-0 KC.
The third baseman, Mike Moustakas.
Let's flash back to Eric Hosmer in the 4th inning. This was against Michael Fulmer. He gets a solid single right back up the middle. And he's on first base on a base hit that goes through the hole. He goes all the way to third base on this particular play. And then he obviously comes around to score. I mean, this guy just beat you in so many different ways. Basically manufactured that run by himself.
And guys, you rarely hear, you guys talk about speed from the first base position, but Eric Hosmer is just a different kind of player. Uses his legs to beat team, and obviously, Rod, he carries a big stick. I mean, he drives the ball to all fields, and he just seems to come up big in those clutch situations with runners in score position, as he did right there.
You know what else he got? Got a lot of swag too.
Yes, he does.
Hey, Craig, Rod and I were talking about him being a 5-tool player. Are you on board with that?
I am on board with it. I'm on board with him. Rod kind of started to talk about Hosmer a few years ago, and he said he's a great player. And I'm like, well, what has he done? Well, now, Rod, I understand what you were talking about. He has nice hands. He can run a little bit. He's got some pop, and he's a 300 hitter. So I understand why you love his tool set.
He was playing first base every day for Jim Leland in the spring for the United States in the World Baseball Classic. And the guy that he was playing in front of, and Mario, Paul Goldschmidt.
Paul Goldschmidt,
No
yeah.
way.
Paul couldn't get off the bench.
How crazy is that? There's a ball outside to Mike Moustakas. Royals on top 3-0. Still only 1 out in the inning. 3 runs on 6 Royals hits now.
It's early, though, boys. Sanchez get out of this inning here. The Tigers bats will wake up against Kennedy, I believe, and get back in this game.
What do you got on Sanchez, Craig? It's been kind of a laborious game for him tonight.
Well, when he's at his best, he's pitching ahead in the count, locating his pitches extremely well and changing speeds. And guys, I noticed early in the contest, he's making some mistakes over the hard to plate. He's also falling behind hitters, which here's another 2-0 count to a very dangerous hitter in Moustakas right here.
Ripped to right field, base hit. Hosmer is on his way to second. He will pull in there. For another hit.
For the first time since Anibal came back from Toledo, it looks like to me he's pitching away from contact today. He's not really filling up the strike zone with the quality strikes that he had previously in his starts. He's thrown 61 and he's missed the strike zone with 25 of those.
But I think that has a lot to do with the fact that the Kansas City Royals are a team that doesn't strike out that often, and so they're going to put the ball in play, and so maybe he's trying to be a little bit too careful early in the game.
Less than half the fastballs that Sanchez has thrown so far tonight have missed the strike zone, so not commanding the fastball today.
Line drive, base hit, right field. This will get another run in. Hosmer coming around to score, and another hit for the Royals. 3 straight now, and they've added another run, 4-0. Moss joins the party. 25th RBI for Moss. Action in the Tigers bullpen. Longman Chad Bell warming up.
And Mario, another point I would like to make too is that, again, you can become predictable as a pitcher. Sanchez has experienced and had a lot of success throwing that changeup and off-speed pitches and fastball counts. Well, it looks like to me tonight in particular, the Kansas City Royals have made that adjustment. They're well aware of what Sanchez likes to do on the mound when he's in those situations.
This Royals team, they also like to swing early. See, I was talking about that a little earlier before you came on. They swing at the first pitch 33% of the time, which is 3rd most in the majors.
Well, coming through the minor leagues, I would hear that from hitting instructors. A lot of times the first pitch is probably going to be the best pitch you get to hit. And so, yeah, you want to be aggressive, especially on fastballs.
Escobar fouls it back 0-2. A 3-run third for the Royals, and they have 5 hits in this inning. Here's the first pitch swing percentage we're talking about.
Right, I got a baseball question for you. As a hitter, you've been in the batter's box. When you knew the guy on the mound couldn't overpower you, how much more comfortable were you in the batter's box?
Oh, no doubt you're comfortable if you know the guy can't beat you with his fastball. Yeah. I mean, you could pretty much do what you wanted to do, and you knew you're going to get some good swings. That's the key, too.
Good spoil there by Escobar. 0-2 the count stays on the shortstop for the Royals, who singled in a run back in the 2nd. And now Anibal up to 65 pitches. And still only 1 out as you look at his pitch usage.
That changeup 36% of the time. That's probably too much. Hasn't used his curveball, hasn't really used his slider.
And so what he's allowed the Kansas City Royals to do, guys, is eliminate pitches. They can sit fastball or either changeup.
Just a touch outside, 1-2.
Anibal could throw a fastball right here, right by Escobar, because it appears to me by Escobar taking that last pitch, he's looking for something soft. And he'll probably get a strikeout looking if he throws it for a strike.
Swing at a foul tip into the glove, and Escobar is out of there. 3rd strikeout for Sanchez. He needed that one desperately.
93, located pretty nice on the outside black. You could tell that Escobar a little late because in the back of his mind, and Sanchez had given him a steady diet of those slow changeups and breaking balls, and he thought maybe, perhaps, he'd get another one.
And also, guys, with 2 strikes, you're taught to let the ball get deep, let it travel, and that's also part of the reason why, right, I believe he was late, Escobar, on that particular swing as well.
Gordon sends a high fly ball to right field, hit pretty well. Presley going back, has room, and he'll make the catch. Shaten into the plate, 3 runs in. Royals extend their lead.
Bottom of the third tonight here at Comerica Park. Hey, this Friday the Tigers take on the Astros 7:10 p.m. District Detroit night. The first 10,000 fans receive a free Detroit Tigers District Detroit baseball cap. If you'd like tickets, go to tigers.com or call 866-66-TIGER. Tigers now coming to the plate here in the third. They have McCann, Iglesias, Kinsler. Ian Kennedy has been staked to a 4-0 advantage. Mac 1 for 3 with an RBI in the series. He has hit safely in 6 straight ball games. And you're looking at a ball outside 1-0.
Kennedy has pitched pretty good in this ballpark. In 4 starts here at Comerica Park, he is 2-1 with a 2.45 ERA. Tigers hitting just 208 against Kennedy in this yard.
Here's a knock. Tigers have their first base hit of the night. Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
James McCann getting hot.
Good to see.
Rod, I was talking to Lloyd McClendon around the batting cage today. James McCann has made some adjustments in his swing, and I'm going to try to break them down on the pregame and postgame show, hopefully tonight, if he continues to swing the bat well. But the adjustment that he made is that he's backed off the plate a little bit, and he's also standing more upright, which is allow him to free his hands up and allow him to get to the baseball, both inside pitches and outside pitches as well.
Well, I know that Justin Upton last year, when he finally backed off the plate, he went off in August and September, and still going off this year.
He also made mention, Lloyd McClendon, I'm talking about the hitting instructor here with the Tigers. He also made mention of Mikey Matuk. If you notice, Matuk during spring training was very wide. He also stood him up a little bit too. And so both of these guys are experiencing a lot of success here of late.
There's a ball outside to Iglesias. 1 ball and 1 strike.
It's good to see, because sometimes when you start to make adjustments in spring training, you don't see the progress right away. But both of these guys right now performing very well, Matuk and James McCann.
I always wondered, guys, neither one of you or both of you can answer this, but how does that dynamic work with a guy that has been struggling? Do you wait for the hitting coach to come to you? Do you go to the hitting coach? How does that work?
Depends on whether it's a veteran player or a very young player. If it's a very young player, then you go to that player, but sometimes you just wait the veterans out till they come to you.
Sliced in the air to shallow right field. Bonifacio coming on. He'll run it down. And McCann had his scamper back. 1 away. That'll bring up Ian Kinsler, and it brings us to the Bernstein advantage, where Ian has enjoyed success against Ian Kennedy career. 5 extra base hits, 4 RBIs. 7 for 18 against him. He walked against Kennedy in the first. And he walks to the plate with a little Stevie Wonder.
Old school.
Yeah.
Very superstitious.
Pretty much all the outs that Kennedy has recorded in this game have been hit in the air. Got 3 fly ball outs in the second. He's got another one here in the third. One ball and 1 strike. There you go.
Guys, one of the advantages I have down here in the camera wheel is that I get a chance to see the interaction with the players, with the manager, with the hitting instructors, and over here with Miguel Cabrera, I've noticed them talking about the strike zone. Basically they need to pick a side. The home plate umpire tonight is giving maybe a little bit too much away, and then also the height. You know, they wanting to get the baseball down. So look for the Tigers to continue to try to get Kennedy over the hard to plate to where they can do some damage. But they feel like right now, early in the contest, maybe getting a little bit too much off the plate and also up.
To be perfectly honest with you, Kennedy, his balls to strikes ratio is not very good either.
He'll spin one up there and it misses high.
He's thrown a total of 42 and only 23 strikes, 19 balls.
Well, coming into the contest, guys, again, hanging around the cage, that was the approach. They said Kennedy has a lot of success when you expand the strike zone, and he likes to go away a lot. But you have to force him to come over the heart of the plate. And if you do that, he's had some trouble giving up some home runs. But if they feel like if they can get him over the plate, they can do some damage. They can drive in some runs and hopefully get back into this game.
He stayed away that time on Kinsler and missed, and now it's 3-2. Got Presley waiting on deck. Here's the full count pitch. High towering fly ball to left field. That ball is hit well but playable. Edge of the warning track for Gordon.
Another fly out. That is 6 so far on the night.
Well, I guess if you're going to pick a ballpark, you get the majority of your outs in the air. This might be a good park. A lot of room out there to dead center. A lot of room in the gaps. And there are 2 gone now. Here is Presley. Butera went out to the mound after that last fly ball out. We were talking, Simo, about how Presley was hitting only a little over 200 in the minor leagues. And lo and behold, they bring him up, and all of a sudden he's over 300 here in the major leagues.
Well, I think as he's matured as a player and he's been more of a little bit of a journeyman, he kind of understands what he's capable of doing, and he stays within himself.
Yeah, that's a great way to describe it, I think. You know, he knows he's not going to hit the ball over the wall. He's got 1 home run this year, but if you look at his month of July, 413, and a lot of those were just slashing to left center field and right center field.
And guys, also, if you notice his approach, he's in control of his at bat. And I think as a hitter, when you're in the batter's box, that's the one thing, or the most important thing that you want to accomplish in the batter's box, is you control the at bat. Don't allow the pitcher to control your at bat. And he's done an outstanding job of that.
1 ball and 1 strike, 4-0. Royals have the lead here. In there, strike called, 1-2. Kennedy has not lost a start since June 5th. He's had 3 wins and 5 no decisions in that span. He's pretty much given his team a chance to win for the most part. Fouled away. Tigers got to him for 5 runs in 3 innings in his first start against Detroit. She's showing that souvenir off, man.
She sure is, and smiling too.
Proud of that. The 1-2 is outside. 2-2 on Presley. Outfield a little bit to pull on Presley. There is some room in left center.
Infield, they're playing pretty much straight up.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Presley is out, and so are the Tigers. top of the fourth, 4-0 in favor of the Royals. Grand Valley night here at the ballpark tonight. Our friends at Grand Valley State University in the house this evening.
Yes, they are.
And a lot of them. Enjoying some Tigers baseball this evening. The university days, and a lot of the universities, most of the major ones in the state of Michigan being represented this year. We had Eastern Michigan last time. That's a good looking hat right there.
It is.
Drew Butera will lead things off against Sanchez, who threw 23rd inning pitches. The pitch count is up now. It's at 68. And Butera hammers one foul. He did that in his last at bat. 0-1 the count before Sanchez ended up striking him out. That ball needs a quick inning. The 0-1. 0-2 now on Butera. It'll bounce in, and to the backstop it goes. Butera and then Merrifield and Bonifacio for the Royals here in the fourth. Kansas City has won 7 consecutive ball games. They are 5 over 500 for the first time this year.
They are the hottest team in baseball as we speak. No one playing better baseball than the Kansas City Royals.
2-2.
Already 30 come from behind wins this year.
Outside, 3 balls, 2 strikes.
This team's tough to put away. Verlander was talking about this a couple of nights ago, giving the Kansas City Royals hitters a lot of credit. He says you can get ahead of these guys, and he did a nice job that night getting ahead, but man, they battle you. Even when they get 2 strikes, they're battling.
Grounded foul.
Fouling off a lot of pitches.
The Royals now have leapfrogged Minnesota in the standings.
Have they?
Yeah, the Twins kind of fading right now. They're 4.5 out coming into play tonight.
Mario, we talked about this early in the season. We thought this would happen.
Yeah.
We thought it would happen a little bit earlier.
But it's starting to happen now for the Twins. And you just wonder, what is there, 5 days left for the trading deadline? What if they lose like 2, 3, 4 more in a row?
Well, they have to consider.
Don't they? I mean, you got Santana.
I mean, that's a nice chip.
Which would be ironic since they just picked up Jaime Garcia, who they thought was going to help their rotation. Now Sanchez with the 3-2, and it's fouled away again. Butera playing for Salvador Perez tonight, who came out of the ball game with a side injury last night, getting the evening off tonight, and the veteran Butera filling in.
Salvador probably does not know what to do with himself. He plays literally every single day.
So leadoff walk for the number 9 hitter. Time now for the AT&T Reliability Stat. Here's some notable Grand Valley alumni.
Yeah, I knew it was coming.
And Grand Valley night. Who's that guy down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the list? Who's that?
Steve Knight.
Steve Knight. Who is Steve Knight?
Well,
Keating, fill us in.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was a radio name back in the day when I worked in Grand Rapids a long time ago. But when I went to Grand Valley, I will share this with you really quickly. I drove. I'll let you go.
That's the center field and caught there by Matuk. 1 gone.
I drove a white Pinto with orange trim and an orange vinyl roof back and forth to Grand Valley. And I don't know why I couldn't get a date back then.
It's a chick magnet. That's what that is. I thought you told me you drove an Edsel.
It actually had a sunroof that you had to crank open back in the day, and
really,
and it will stun you that this particular Pinto died. You know, it didn't, or we put it to sleep. Now that I look back upon it.
You got some miles out of it then.
We did.
Were you proud of that car?
I did. I love that car. Gave up the first one.
That's line to left field, hooking, and that is a foul ball.
First car I had was a big old LTD. We had couches in it. And then we went from there to the Pinto.
All steel.
Yeah.
LTD.
Well, you know, we had Central Michigan University tonight, I believe, recently, and there's a Central grad in the house here tonight.
Yeah,
there he is, Matt Shepard.
Chip Uwa.
Oh, that's a picture, guys.
That's a fine-looking photo, isn't it?
Chip, you look like you're in great shape.
Strong, man.
I think that's just a farmer's tan is what that is.
If you guys believe that's the real deal, then I got some land to sell you. Mickey York's a Chip as well.
He is.
Sure. We got a lot of Chips in the office.
Nobody is immune to Photoshop, to be sure.
I
That's
can't believe
true.
you guys are talking about chips, and y'all not even going to talk about our producer of this telecast, Mr. Disick.
Jason Disick. Yeah, he's a Chippewa.
He might be the mayor.
Craig Monroe
Mount
might have a
Pleasant.
chip in his household sometime
There's a
soon.
good chance. Morgan Monroe did visit the Chips last week, and she enjoyed it. She really
Volleyball
did.
player, right?
Yes, she enjoyed it. She says, Dad, I think I want to go there.
Nice.
Well, we'll be moving to Michigan.
That'd be great for you.
It really would be.
Bad for her, but great for you.
What are you saying?
Helicopter dad.
1 ball, 1 strike on Bonifacio. And he'll take a strike on the inside part of the plate, 1-2. Well, we look forward to the college nights every time we have one here at the ballpark. And just about every one of the universities represented. Grand Valley State tonight.
The
Had a nice conversation with
first
Matt
time
Mitchell.
for Grand Valley.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, their head football coach, Matt Mitchell, joined us on the pregame show. Preseason #2 in Division II football.
Nice. The 1-2. Did he go? I think he did. Yep, he went around, says first base umpire Sam Holbrook. 2 gone here in the 4th. A strikeout for Anibal.
And nice job by Anibal. And fastball up top. And Bonifacio couldn't hold up.
That'll bring up Lorenzo Cain. Fly out, ground out. .264 this year for Cain. Royals got 1 in the 2nd and 3 in the 3rd. They seem at the risk of jinxing this whole situation here. Lorenzo Cain, we have not seen him perform all that well against the Tigers this year. What have you seen out of Lorenzo? Very talented guy.
Well, I feel like he's got a little bit too pull happy here this season. I think years past I've watched him and he stayed on the baseball well, driving the ball to the big part of the field, hitting some balls the opposite way. But now it just seems like to me that front side is flying out a little bit too soon.
He's got himself a 2-1 count here. Sanchez is now up to 85 pitches. The 2-1.
Take a look at this swing here, guys. Even here, 2-1 count. Watch the front hips fly open. That's all upper body there, and that's just that's too big of a swing. He definitely has to shorten that swing and get back to staying through the big part of the field.
Fly ball and a ground out for Cain, and the runner goes on a delayed steal, bounced up the middle and into center field. Butera was sliding into second. He gets up quickly and goes to third, and the Royals now have them at the corners.
The first baseman, Eric Hosmer.
And a 2-out chance for Hosmer, and he's not going to face Sanchez. Brad Ausmus coming out to make a change. So Anibal will be bounced out of this game in the 4th inning. 9 KC hits. And it's going to be a wall side windows pitching change. Sanchez done for the night, and we'll be back.
on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by the Sam Bernstein Law Firm, official legal services sponsor of Fox Sports Detroit. Bell Tire, for tires and auto service, everybody needs a Bell Tire guy. And by Chevrolet, go for thrilling drives and deals at the Chevy Summer Drive. Chevrolet, find new roads. Well, the Royals threatening again here at the ballpark. They already lead 4-0. First and third now with 2 outs. Hosmer the batter. And Chad Bell coming out of the bullpen for the Tigers.
And Bell going to have to eat up some innings here today. Anibal Sanchez lasting only 3 2/3 here. The Royals have been running today. They've had 4 guys take off from first base while Sanchez was in the game.
Kane drawing another throw. Lorenzo, if he's thinking of running, is 16 for 16 this year. Numbers on Bell. Hosmer, 2 more hits. RBI, stolen base, 2 runs scored. We highlighted him on the top of the telecast tonight, and he is not disappointed for KC.
No. Hitting well over 400 when he hits the ball the opposite way. On the season, 314, 15 homers. He's driven in nearly 50 runs. And he's a free agent after this season is over.
1-1.
And he's got bad intentions, see, when he swings that bat, too.
Yes, he does.
Got bad intentions.
Some damage right there with that swing.
Fastball counts, he don't get cheated. He had 2 home runs off Chris Sale in a game last year, which is remarkable. Most left-handers don't even play against Chris Sale.
That'll back him out of there. 2-1.
He puts together solid at bats too against left-handers, Rod. If you watch his approach, I mean, he drives the ball the opposite way as well as anybody in the game, and I think that's one of the reasons he's had a lot of success against left-handers.
Yep, numbers not bad against lefties.
That'll get back out of play. Yeah, not bad as an understatement. 323 against left-handed pitching this year.
Yeah.
All right, they're from Kansas, but they're here to cheer on the Tigers tonight. Welcome.
It's all good.
Two and 2 on Hosmer. Tigers tonight have been out hit 9-1 in this game. Little chopper back to the mound. Bell will handle it and throw him out. Hosmer finally retired, and the threat is over.
Fourth inning here at the ballpark, and a reminder to spend an unforgettable weekend at Comerica Park playing baseball with former Tigers. The 2017 Field of Dreams Fantasy Camp takes place August 25th through the 27th. For more information, call 313-471-2550 or go to tigers.com. Either way, you'll get more info on the Tigers Field of Dreams Fantasy Camp. Kennedy back to work, and J-Up looks at a ball outside.
Guys, this is way off the subject, but I have to say this. Every time I come down to the camera well, my good friends down here, I mean, they take tremendous care of me. I've got a nice chocolate chip cookie that was offered to me. And so, of course, I'm gonna take the cookie. I'm gonna eat it. I'm like the Cookie Monster, I guess, down here.
You got your own little fan club down there, do you see?
I do. And as you notice, I'm talking with my mouth full, but they love me. They take care of me, guys. So, Rod, don't be jealous. Don't be jealous. I know you're jealous right now.
I'm not jealous.
Oh, just a little.
I am, man. I want that cookie.
Just a little.
I'm not jealous, see.
I will say this, guys. It's really good, too.
They take care of me, too, when I'm down there.
Okay. Maybe they just like me more than they like you.
The 2-1 is inside. 3-1 on Upton.
Boy, you need to stop. You better stay humble.
I mean, I'm very humble.
3-1. Tigers need some runners. He got Upton, Cabrera, Castellanos. And he lost him. Ball 4. Leadoff man on. So again, Kennedy stays away, and he paid for it with a walk. It'll be his second of the game. And it brings up Miggy. Cabrera struck out in the first inning, struck out looking on a call that he disagreed with.
They love Miggy.
Trying to get him jump started here. Cabrera in 3 for 10 in the series. Four runs on 9 hits for KC. Tigers, no runs, 1 hit.
And Miggy struck out his first time up looking on a breaking ball that Miguel thought was off the plate outside, but DJ Rayburn called it a strike.
Come on, big fella.
Seymour, you and I were talking before the game about some of the at-bats last night for Cabrera, and you saw some room for, well, some reasons, I guess, to be optimistic.
Well, I like that he wasn't flip-flopping back and forth between his mechanics. I've seen him earlier where he spreads out one particular pitch, and then he picks his leg up, and it was just kind of like he was searching. Yesterday, he just looked like he was more in control of what he wanted to do. And that's a good swing there. He missed it, but that's a really good swing there in a 2-0 fastball count.
One of the things that I've noticed about Miguel, he's not getting nearly as many breaking balls this year as in years prior. This year, teams have taken the liberty of trying to beat Miggy with fastballs. They've had some success doing it, but not nearly as many breaking balls. They're going to throw him a 2-1 fastball here.
Ground ball to third. Short hop pick by Moustakas. Man, oh man, and that's going to be a double play. He could pick it down at third. 2 gone.
The baseman, Nicholas Castellanos.
You were talking about this last night, Rod. Not great range there, but great hand.
Every time Moustakas gets his glove on the ball, he makes the play. And he's got a very accurate arm. I told you he was a high school quarterback. He was a good high school quarterback. Look at the feed right here, though, to Merrifield. On the run, Merrifield, foot on the bag, comes across the bag, so he can't get touched by J-Up in a double play. I've never seen Miggy this frustrated. See, I know you haven't either, have you?
No, I haven't seen him this frustrated.
I mean, that's a perfect example of how they're pitching Miggy right now, guys. I mean, that's 2-1 right there.
Yeah.
And he's not throwing above 92 here today. And, you know, Miggy's looking for a fastball, but still not able to do what Miguel has done for 14 years in the big leagues right now.
0-2 on Castellanos.
Right, a little bit that has to do with timing. Obviously, you have to get yourself in a good hitting position early enough to be able to get to that particular pitch. But also, guys, if you're thinking, your bat slows down. And it's been well documented, Rod, that Miggy's thinking a little bit in the batter's box because he's searching for that feeling he's had throughout his major league career.
Nick spoiled that one out of play.
Castellanos going through it too right now. He is 0 for his last 19. Had a 2-homer game against this Kansas City Royals team a week ago when the Tigers were in Kansas City. And a triple in the same game, didn't he?
Yep.
Yep.
The 0-2. Swing and a miss. Down he goes. Kennedy gives up a leadoff walk, but no damage. When we come back, we'll delve into the mental part of the game.
The scoreboard for tonight's personalized scoreboard messages.
Top 5 Royals have a 4-0 lead in this ball game. Only 1 hit for the Tigers. Remember this play last night? It was the biggest play of the game, probably.
Yeah, it was. Bottom half of the 8th inning, 1 out, and line drive to right field. Bonifacio hugging the line. Ma took on first, thought that ball was going to go in the corner. Got too far off the bag and couldn't get back, and that ended the inning with a double play.
Moustakas leads it off and fouls it back. Well, it's part of the game that, you know, sometimes you have to try and put in the rearview mirror when things like that happen, Simo. And I think Mikey's done a pretty good job of that tonight. But he clearly admitted after the ball game last night that he needed to check where that right fielder was.
I love that. I think as players, you have to own it. I mean, you know when you've made a mistake, even in the batter's box. You know when you put together a solid at bat or when you don't. And you know in the outfield or in a position player in the infield where if you don't make a play. And so the fact that he manned up, he owned it, he said he had to be better, he needed to check where Bonifacio was playing before the pitch was thrown to Vimar, and he didn't do it.
Kinsler not going to get this one. It's a leadoff single for Mike Moustakas. And here's what Mikey Matuk had to say about that play after last night's ball game.
Those base running mistakes can't happen. I didn't pick up, checked right fielder before the play. You know, I saw a ball go over my head. I thought for sure it was a double. I was just trying to score from first to try to tie the game up. You know, there's no excuse to it. It was just me. I didn't check and see where he was playing, and it came back to bite us.
Mistakes certainly part of the game. There's a soft liner hit to the shortstop.
You know, we talked about that play a little bit last night, and in a day and age where there are so many analytics and defenses are constantly moving with 1 strike and 2 strikes. I mean, you got multiple guys moving on the field. As a base runner, you just have to make sure after every single pitch you do yourself a favor and you just look at every guy on the field to see whether he's moved or not from the previous pitch. And if you do that, you'll help yourself make better base running decisions.
Absolutely, Rob. But Mikey Matuk again, guys. He talked about the triple that he hit early in the contest. I mean, he pretty much was being aggressive and got himself into scoring position at third base with less than 2 outs. I think what he was thinking about there, he was so focused on tying that game that he just had a mental lapse to where he didn't peek to see where Bonifacio was playing. And Rod, you know this, and Mario, you've called so many games, you know this as well. That ball that Vimar hit down the line, that's a double every single day, and maybe twice on Sunday. And Matuk thought, well, here's an opportunity to tie the game, but it was just he didn't peek to make sure.
We have another replay that shows Justin Upton on third base as well, and even though Justin had the play in front of him, he wasn't quite sure at first whether that ball was going to be caught or not. Here's Justin. He wasn't quite sure either, because he comes down a couple steps and he said, oh, he's over there. He got back to tag and got in there, and he would have scored. But Justin didn't quite know whether he was going to catch that ball or not, because he was hugging that line down in the right field corner.
Yeah, Justin, on that particular play, as soon as the ball was hit, especially when you see that the ball is elevated and it's in the air, you have to go back to third base to tag up. He didn't, and then he did get back to tag up, but it was a little bit too late. They got Mikey Matuk at first base.
So when you're on first base, Simo, do you have a mental checklist of what you need to do in every different scenario?
Oh, yeah, you have to. You have to be aware. I always talk about keeping your head on a swivel.
Little bouncer to second. There's a 4, a 6, and safe at first base. Yeah, Escobar was motoring down the line. He was not about to be doubled up. We'll see if the Tigers want to look at it.
The left fielder, Alex Gordon.
He's there. Fielder's choice. Tigers wave it off. That'll bring up Gordon. Alex, a walk and a fly ball. Right back to the mound in the check swing. Bell will throw him out. Inning over. Tigers baseball tonight presented by Bell Tires. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Time to get the bats going here against Ian Kennedy. It's going to be Martinez, Matuk, and McCann. And the Tigers just have not been able to get it going. Apparently, Simo, you're not the only one that gets goodies.
Yeah, he's the only one to get taken care of.
Yeah, we got a little ice cream here.
Mr. Big Shot.
No, definitely not a big shot. Just well liked down here. That's all.
Yeah, but do you get ice cream?
That looks good, though, guys.
Vanilla bean.
Yeah. All right, timeout.
Oh, Shep's here.
Cookies, ice cream.
Yeah.
I get a rock.
There is a pecking order, Shep.
Oh, I'm way down. Somebody just brought me chocolate almonds.
Ooh.
That's not good. Get those out of here. Chocolate almonds. Like that's going to make up for ice cream or chocolate chip cookies.
The beggars can't be choosers.
I want pie. Give me cake.
I want pie. 0-2 on V-Mart. Victor followed by Matuk and McCann here in the fifth. Kennedy 6 of 15 first pitch strikes.
Simo, why is Ian Kennedy such a tough assignment? In 14 of his 18 starts this year, 6 hits or less in 14 of them. I mean, what's he doing?
Right, he throws a 4-seam fastball that has 2-seam action at times on it. And then he also throws that 4-seam fastball to where it almost rises up as it gets into the hitter zone. And so guys they're not able to barrel him up. There are a lot of foul balls, a lot of fly balls, which we've seen tonight. And it's also about his command. When he's commanding the strike zone, especially down and away to the right-handers, he just has a lot of success.
He pitches well in this ballpark. He pitches in this ballpark like he's at home. In 4 starts, 2-1 with a 245 earned run average. He's only given up 1 knock today.
But he'll also mix in his breaking ball. He'll throw you a real good changeup, you know, just to keep you honest. I feel like the Tigers have battled him, though. They've made him work, but just not able to get to him.
He is coming off his roughest outing in his last outing 5 days ago. No decision against the White Sox. Gave up 6 runs in that game.
Gordon backing up to make the play, and V-Mart is out. Another fly ball out.
Let's take a look at our Bell Tire pitch by pitch. Well, we asked what Kennedy was doing. Now we'll show you what Ian Kennedy is doing. Simo talked about that 4-seam fastball he's been able to spot, but something else that he is doing once he gets ahead, he's been throwing more breaking balls, more sliders, more curveballs. You can see the knuckle curveball grip. And that pitch has been a good one for him so far tonight. Tigers haven't been able to barrel him up. Throwing a lot of those knuckle curves.
7 hits is the most that he's given up in any start this year, and that was against the Dodgers 3 starts ago.
Nearly 70% with his fastball here today.
Mikey Matuk fly to center back in the second. The only Tigers hit a single by McCann in the third. That's it. That led the inning off.
That came on a breaking ball as well.
Royals got 1 in the second, 3 in the third. Two and 1. Mikey with a 10-game streak right now. That is a career high. 395 in that stretch. In there, a strike called at the top of the zone. .348 since June 1st for Mikey Matuk, who has been on a tear with the bat. Here's a 2-2, and it's ripped to center field. Another base hit for Mikey. Pulled in with a 1-out single.
And Matuk got himself a 93-mile-per-hour fastball on the 2-2 pitch and scalded it. Nice swing by Mikey.
Twelve extra base hits, 14 RBIs in that stretch since June 1st. He's pretty much taken over center field for the Tigers. Now McCann will step in. James had a single, the only other Tigers hit that led off the third. Lifted back out of play 0-1. Seven-game streak now for McCann.
McCann wearing the eye black at night. Got a different look too. Got a little peach fuzz on his chin.
I was messing with him today about that, Rob.
Yeah, what'd he say?
Practice. Just growing it out a little bit. Changing up his luck.
0-2. Wasn't real sure about that call, but up with the right hand goes DJ Rayburn.
Well, DJ Rayburn has consistently given the outside corner to Kennedy here tonight. And now with 2 strikes, more than likely Butera gonna go right back out there, maybe an inch further out to see if they can get that one called.
In on his hands.
These Royals, they're not afraid to pitch inside. Duffy, for a left-hander last night, threw more fastballs inside than I can ever remember a left-hander throwing the Tigers right-hander batters inside.
What does it allow you to do as a hitter if a pitcher fails to go inside on a semi-consistent basis? The 0-2 is popped up. Shallow center field. Kane coming in. They'll run it down.
Well, it allows you to dive out over the plate because you're not really afraid that he's going to come inside. And then when he does make a quality pitch that's away from you, a breaking ball or a fastball, you can get to it because the pitcher will not show you inside.
Hey, fellas, I also want to point out something with the home plate umpire. Take a look at where he sets up when the pitcher's ready to throw the pitch. And you talked about it. He's giving Kennedy that outside part of the plate. Well, I always paid attention to where the umpires set up. If they were setting up on the inside, that means they're kind of guessing on that outside part of the plate. And that allows them, you know, at times to give the pitcher the call because they really don't get a good look at it.
A little bit outside there, borderline.
But what if he set up on the other side? See, would he not see the inside?
Absolutely,
pitch?
yes, that would be the case, Rod.
Iglesias flying to right field, 0-for-1. Here's how hot Iglesias was. He is 0 for his last 11, but still 347 in his last 12 games. He was putting together 3-hit games quite a bit. In fact, he's got 10 3-hit games this year. Kennedy methodically working through the Tigers lineup. The 1-1. Low, ball 2. And that was number 80 for Kennedy. Low, ball 3. Top of the order on deck, Kinsler. Trevor Cahill has made it to the Royals. He was part of that deal they pulled off a couple of days ago with the Padres. Got a couple of bullpen arms. Mauer and Buchter. Ripped down the left field line. Fair ball. Matuk is headed to third base. They're going to wave him home. Here's a throw to the plate. Cut off. And now Iglesias is going to be out. It'll be a hit and an RBI for Iglesias. A double scores Matuk. And Iggy thrown out at the plate. But the Tigers get a run. Simo, we'll see you post game. Thanks, man.
All right, guys. Thank you. Enjoyed it.
All right. Well, everybody gets a treat here tonight, including Matt Shepard.
How about that? I may not get ice cream or cookies, but I've got friends in high places, baby.
board, though, as we go to the top of the 6th inning. Chad Bell, who has had to eat up some innings tonight after Sanchez was knocked out of the game in the 4th. He'll go to work now against the number 9 hitter, Drew Butera. He will lead things off, and he takes ball 1 in the dirt. Butera and then Merrifield and Bonifacio. Fouled straight back, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Pretty good cut there by Butera. A 93-mile-per-hour heater thrown by Chad Bell.
Butera, he strike out and walk. Those 2 at bats versus Sanchez. Busted him inside, and the count goes 2-1. Checked it foul, back out of play. Merrifield waiting on deck. Popped up middle of the infield, Kinsler, and 1 gone. Fans, RBI Baseball 2017 is out now for Xbox One, PS4, iOS, and Android. Enjoy fast-paced pick-up and play MLB action, packed with all your favorite MLB teams, players, ballparks, and much more. Learn more at RBIGame.com. 1 away for Merrifield. The Royals have not scored since getting 3 in the 3rd. And Witt skies this one in the air to left center. Easy play for Matuk. 2 up, 2 down. Chad Bell's turned into a pretty good long guy for the Tigers this year.
Yeah, when he does come into the game, it's usually when the Tigers starter has been bounced prematurely. And usually the Tigers are trailing. But what he does is he keeps the score right where it's at until the Tigers' bats are able to wake up. A lot of value in being a successful long man. These Royals continue to swing early and often. They hunt first pitches, especially first pitch fastballs.
Bonifacio, an RBI single in the 3rd. He has power. 14 home runs. He homered in the first game of the series. He'd taken all the way there. Strike 1 right down the middle. One for 3 tonight. The Tigers have been out hit 10-3, trailed by 3 runs, 4-1. High towering fly ball to left. Matuk and Upton. It's Jay up, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Bell. We go to the bottom of the 6th. 6th now at the ballpark. Hey, the Tigers are hosting the Astros this Saturday at 6:10 p.m. Former Tiger John Hiller will participate in a pregame Q&A session. 4:45 at the Big Cat Court, part of the Alumni Saturdays. Visit tigers.com or call 866-66-TIGER. John Hiller back in the D.
Good man. I told you he's always down at the fantasy camps down in Lakeland, Florida, and the lovely wife Lynette as well. Good people.
What's his nickname?
Ratso.
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 Here are the Tigers now. Leadoff man Kinsler lines one into right field, but Bonifacio makes the catch.
It appears that these Royals, man, just everything that's hit, they catch. Good defensive team. Tigers are going to see another really good baseball team on Friday.
And the Astros.
Tigers have to start playing some better baseball here at the crib. You got to hold home court advantage.
Meanwhile, Kennedy's still getting fly ball outs, 9 of them. Presley looks at ball 1.
And Kennedy is known as a fly ball pitcher. And that's why he gives up so many home runs. He gave up 31 home runs 2 years ago when he was playing for the San Diego Padres. Gave up 33 last year for this Kansas City Royals team.
Pop up in a strikeout for Presley. Here's his ratio, ground ball to fly ball.
More fly balls than ground balls.
Swing and a miss. 1-2. Presley again getting his spot in the second hole in the Tigers lineup. Brad putting him up there. Had his 10-game hitting streak snapped on Monday. The 1-2 lifted back out of play.
I think they like J.D. Martinez out in Arizona.
Boy, do they.
He's already homered 3 times for the Diamondbacks. Hit 2 homers today.
The 1-2. Bouncing ball first base side. Hosmer. He hurries up and wins the race to the bag. And there are 2 gone. Speaking of JD, time for the Unlimited Baseball Break. Brought to you by T-Mobile. JD Martinez, his 3rd multi-homer game of the season today against the Braves.
How about the Dodgers, man? First team to 70 wins. They are 70-31. 39 games over 500.
3 rookies have 20 home runs prior to August 1st. Judge, Bellinger, and Renfroe, the Padres. How about that?
Hunter Renfroe. I hadn't really heard of him.
We saw him out there in San Diego. And well, the rookies kind of putting on a show this year. With 2 outs, J-Up stands in.
Baseball is in really good hands with all the young talent emerging in the show.
Upton a walk and a strikeout.
Upton knows Kennedy well. They were teammates in Arizona. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I was just going to ask you a question. Are you in the Aaron Judge or Jose Altuve camp for MVP right now?
I have to digest a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no denying that Judge has done a lot, and Judge has gotten a lot of the headlines. I mean, Judge is the guy that everybody talks about, but quietly, Jose Altuve is having an MVP season. There's no doubt about that.
It's going to be a heck of a race down the stretch for that award.
I mean, Altuve hitting .365. He already has over 130 hits.
The 2 for .364 right now.
Justin Turner, he must have just jumped into the race. I didn't think he qualified yet. He spent some time on the DL.
3-1 pitch. J-Up looks at a strike. Fill it now 3-2. Miggy on deck. We're in the 6th, 4-1 KC.
Miggy's won 4 batting titles. He knows what that feels like.
Fouled away.
Mario, if Aaron Judge were to win it, so he'd join Ichiro Suzuki and Fred Lynn as the only players to win the Rookie of the Year and MVP in the same season, right?
You know, I remembered Ichiro, but you're right. I forgot about Freddie Lynn.
Yeah, with Boston, right? Wouldn't that be something?
It would be something.
Yankees aren't even close without that dude, right? Not even close.
No,
they're not.
Not at all. Again, the 3-2.
You know who's been balling for the Yankees? Didi Gregorius.
Meanwhile, down goes Jay up on the ground out to Moustakas. 1-2-3 go the Tigers. Detroit is brought to you by the new film Detroit's opening everywhere August 4th, rated R. They had the world premiere last night at the Fox Theater here in the Motor City. What a great event, and really looking forward to seeing that movie about the unrest and the civil unrest, the riots here in Detroit back in 1967, part of our history. Well, here come the Royals now as we go to the 7th inning. It'll be Bell back out there, and it's going to be Kane leading it off. And Lorenzo looks at a strike 0-1. Shep, you were talking about Aaron Judge. You had a chance to see him play, didn't you?
Yeah, every summer we go to Cape Cod, and we go to the Cape Cod Baseball League. It's one of my favorite things we do. And I saw him play in 2012 for the Brewster Whitecaps.
Really?
Yeah, and I saw him play Katuitt, and he hit a bomb. I mean, a monster home run in a 1-run loss. And I remember him walking to the flag. I said, "Who is this kid? My goodness!" And then you get the program. You look at it. He's from Fresno State, right? 6'7", 250. I said, "Looks like a defensive end. He's a monster."
Do you know? Did he play any football at Fresno State?
I don't know. But if I were Pat Hill or whoever the coach was at that time, I would be knocking on his dorm room door.
You know, they probably were bugging that young kid every single day, the football coach.
He is. But you know what, you guys? I mean, he's not just a power hitter, you know? I mean, he's hitting for a high average. I think he's still in the top 10 in the American League.
He's got a pretty easy swing.
Yeah.
Pretty easy swing.
You guys were talking about Altuve, though. League leader in average, hits, doubles, and WAR. That's pretty impressive. Oh, and he's also top 5 in runs, stolen bases, and OBP. Also a former Gold Glove.
He's
not
fun
bad
to watch. No doubt about that.
Now, you know how the Yankees got Aaron Judge, by the way. It's a compensatory pick.
Swisher?
Yeah, they lost Nick Swisher.
Yeah.
Who was on the pregame show getting all hyped up.
I saw that. Yeah, Judge batting .310 this year, so you're right. He's more than just a power hitter. That ball hammered to the gap in left center field, and it's going to be trouble. It's going to go to the wall and bang around out there. Lorenzo Cain is on his way to second, and he will pull in with a double. Leadoff 2-base hit for Cain.
He got himself a 3-2 fastball that was right down the middle, and he absolutely turned on the baseball into the gap. And by the time that Jay Up able to run it down, Lorenzo came coasting in the second.
You know, we talk about Judge and scouting all the time, Rod. And Judge was a first-round pick, but he was picked 32nd overall, which means 31 other teams decided to pass on him.
Yes, indeed. And it took the Yankees to sign him, draft him, and sign him. You wonder what the other general managers were looking at. Scouting directors.
Hosmer trying to advance the runner, rolls it foul. More action in the Tigers bullpen. It's Warwick Soppold. That's what makes scouting so mysterious, because so much of it is just looking into your crystal ball and trying to project.
Albert Pujols, I believe, was the 13th round draft choice.
And he's going to the Hall of Fame.
Right.
0-1 on Hosmer. Two singles, a steal, and RBI, 2 runs scored. Another busy night for the Royals first baseman. Now the 0-1. Little chopper right side. And no one's going to get there.
That's a mental mistake right there by Chad Bell. Oh my God.
I mean, they're giving you an out right there, and Bell just didn't get off the mound. First and third now, nobody out.
Ball hit to the right side of the infield. You got one job to do. If you're Chad Bell, you got to get to first base, and he falls off toward the third base side, and by the time he recovers, there's Eric Hosmer hustling down the line for another single.
So Hosmer not only advances the runner, but he picks up an infield hit in the process. It'll bring up Mike Moustakas. 4-1 Royals lead. They had their 12th hit of tonight's ball game.
Moustakas already with 29 home runs. The only one that has hit more home runs than Moustakas this year in the American League is the guy we've been talking about, Aaron Judge. Judge has 33. The Kansas City Royals single season home run record, 36, set by Steve Bye-Bye Balboni back in 1987. Just 36.
Really says something about the organization, how over the years they've been built around speed, and remember those teams in the 80s, they could really run.
Also says a little something about the ballpark too, being spacious.
The 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Couple of hits tonight for Moustakas. Single in the third, single in the fifth.
Moustakas, who is standing in the batter's box, is a free agent after the season is over. Hosmer at first, Kane at third. All three are free agents.
Good block by McCann. Moustakas is picking a very good year to have an excellent season, isn't he?
Absolutely. Power hitting third baseman with a good glove. Batting .278. On pace to hit 40 homers, driving 100. Dayton Moore, man, he's faced with a very difficult decision, but they can't sell now. They're 5 games over 500. Only a game and a half back in the American League Central, and they're in the playoff picture as far as the wild card is concerned right now.
Ground ball right side, base hit. That'll get another run in. Another hit for Moustakas. His third of the ball game, and KC goes up 5-1.
Their 3, 4, 5 hitters have 8 hits today. 8 of the 13.
You know, Rod, we talked about this the other night, but when you have a team, and the Royals we're talking about now, that has a core of players that went to 2 World Series, and that core is still intact, they certainly know how to play deep into the season, deep into the postseason. I mean, you never really count a team like this out.
They know when they get it going, they're very hard to beat. And right now, they're streaking in the right direction.
Brandon Moss, the batter.
Moss hits well in this ballpark. Overall, batting just .208, but he likes to hit here at Comerica Park.
Got a single to drive in a run in this ball game. 342 lifetime at Comerica coming in.
That's pretty good.
Sure is. Kane's double is their only extra base hit. Everything else is single. 12 singles tonight for the Royals. 1-1. Pretty busy Royals box. Ned Yost looking for his ball club's 8th consecutive win if they hold on here tonight. Strike called. 1-2. Well, if you want to manage the big leagues, you better be able to deal with the ebbs and flows of a season. And Yost has had to do that this year. Very streaky team.
Yep. They lost a bunch of games in April. Then they went on a tear in June where they won 18 of 24. So they went 18-6 in the span. Then they dropped 7 of 8. Now they've won 7 in a row.
Bell stays away. 2-2.
Tigers haven't won four in a row one time this year.
Yeah. That's about it. Sliced foul.
And Kansas City has to keep winning because the Tribe all of a sudden has gotten hot. They've won 5 games in a row. So they are starting to put a little distance between the rest of the division. Kansas City and also the Cleveland Indians.
Indians 2-2 with the Angels tonight at home in the 7th. Just got a piece to stay alive. 3-2 or make it 2-2 remains the count on Brandon Moss.
Here's what the standings look like. Kansas City trailing Cleveland by a game and a half. Minnesota, they've lost a few games. They're under 500 really for the first time all year. Tigers 9 games under 500.
Again, the 2-2. Ooh, we just got a piece of it and stays alive barely. Escobar waiting on deck. Sappold has been warming in the Tigers bullpen. Swing and a miss, and he finally got him. Down goes Moss, 1 away. Well, Tigers fans, if you can't catch the games on TV, you can stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. Download the app, take Fox Sports Detroit and Tigers baseball with you wherever you go. Here is Alcides Escobar. One for 3 tonight, plus a steal and an RBI for Escobar. He came into the game 0 for 15, but broke that with a single to not get a run in the second.
It might not be a bad thing to start Escobar off with something off speed. Loves to swing at first pitch fastballs, especially with runners in scoring position. He'll chase the fastball as well.
Lead out double by Kane. Infield single for Hosmer. Base hit by Moustakas. Hosmer and Moustakas each with 3 hits tonight. Royals have added another run. They lead 5-1. And drilled in the air deep to left field. Upton going back. Can't get it off the top of the wall. 1 run will score. Hosmer is in. Moustakas to third. It's a double and nearly a home run for Alcides Escobar.
And Chad Bell decided to throw Escobar that first pitch fastball. We just talked about the fact that he loves to hit first pitch fastballs, especially with runners in scoring position, and he nearly hit his 4th home run of the year. Fastball gets way too much played right over the head of Jay Up.
Missed it by that much.
By eyelash. Whoa, really close.
Infield coming in now. The Royals have their 14th hit and a 6-1 lead. Here's Gordon. 0 for 2 with a walk. And it hit him. Gordon is hit for the 11th time this year. That's going to be it for Bell. He is the franchise leader in hit by pitch. And apparently we heard some language that we wish he wouldn't have heard, so we apologize for that. Frustrations for the Tigers tonight as Bell walks off the mound. That's going to be it. Wallside windows pitching change. Sappold comes running in. We'll be back. Chris Sale is pretty good at baseball. 14th start today with 10 or more strikeouts, the most in a single season since 2002 when Schilling and the big units did it as well. 15 times for Randy that year, 14 for Schilling.
I saw every last one of those starts that year.
Pretty amazing, man. Sale is just having a great year for the Red Sox.
It's a great trade that Dave Dombrowski made, although he gave up a lot to get Chris Sale. Chris Sale is a legitimate #1 and one of the main reasons why the Boston Red Sox still in first place. He has already over 200 strikeouts.
Meanwhile, Warwick Sappold is in out of the Tigers bullpen.
Warwick's pitched some good baseball, and mostly in long relief, and 2.43 ERA in 37 innings, 23rd game, 21 strikeouts, 12 walks. Fastball, cutter, slider, change. Throws a lot of strikes.
Drew Butera is 0 for 2 with a walk. Ball 1 from Sappold. First 3 Royals reaching here. RBIs belong to Moustakas and Escobar. Now the 1-0.
Chad Bell faced 3 left-handers in this inning, and all 3 reached. Singles by Hosmer, single by Moustakas, and he hit Gordon. A couple of doubles by the right-handers, Escobar and Kane.
Way outside. Now it's 3-0 with no place to put him.
Now, if Drew Butera swings 3-0, I know something. Number 9 hitter.
He can't possibly be swinging here.
Well, we told you the numbers are up, though. Up to 12%. Guys swinging 3-0 this year. Up from 7% last year. And guys having a lot of success doing it.
In there, a strike call, 3-1. Merrifield waiting on deck. Ground ball, base hit left field. Another run scores. Here comes Escobar. They're going to send him home. J-Up's throw is not in time. It's going to be a 2-run single for Drew Butera.
Yeah, Mike Jershely, third base coach, very aggressive. And Justin Upton comes up with a really good throw, but you have to give a lot of credit to Escobar. He had a good secondary lead, and he made it very easily for their third base coach to send him home.
8-1, Royals have the lead.
Solid single by Butera. Good jump off second base by Escobar.
That is the 15th hit for Kansas City. Now Merrifield with runners at first and second, 1 out. Strike 1 in the outer edge. Merrifield's had a pretty good night, 2 hits. He has scored a run.
The Kansas City Royals have been putting up a lot of crooked numbers against the Tigers in the last 10 days.
There's another base hit to center field. This will get another run in. Gordon rounding third to score. Merrifield has his 3rd hit, and the Royals just keep pounding it.
Remember that last game we had in Kansas City where they had 4 different innings where they scored at least 4 runs in the inning?
Yeah, they had 16 total in that game.
Yeah, and they scored 4, 4, 4, and 4. First time in the history they'd ever done that.
And that was a 16-4 win. Now it's 9-1. And here is the 9th man to bat in the inning, Bonifacio.
Ian Kennedy came in averaging just over 3 runs of support. A lot of support today for Kennedy.
Ground ball, base hit left field.
Goodness gracious.
They're going to hold the runner at third base as Upton brings it back in. And another Royals hit. Bases are reloaded.
And batted around. Kane started this off with a double.
That is 17 hits now for KC.
I think Kansas City had 28 hits in one game this year.
What?
Yeah, against Seattle. I saw it when we were over there. I'm going to make sure, though.
They're loaded up now, and here's Kane for the 2nd time. Ball 1. Most hits in a game is actually 19 for the Royals.
19.
Yeah, and that was that game against the Tigers in which they scored 16 runs.
Oh, that was Minnesota. I was looking at just a couple days ago. I had 28 hits in one game.
It's a lot of knocks.
Yeah, it is.
1-0. Ground ball to third, knocked out by Castellanos. He's going to come home. They'll get the force there. Hard hit ball right at Nick, who stayed with it. Kane aboard in the fielder's choice, and there are 2 outs now. And Hosmer will bat again. More action in the Tigers pen. Daniel Stumpf. Three-hit night for Hosmer as he digs in. Ball 1. A 5-run 7th inning. There it is, the 5 spot for KC. They have turned a 4-1 game into a 9-1 game. Driven deep in the air to right field, way back, and that ball is gone. Eric Hosmer putting an exclamation point on this one with a grand slam. What a night for Hosmer. (13-1) Royals. Fifth time this year they've scored more than 10 in a game. They now have 18 hits.
I guess he was sent out by Brad to buy a little time here. Daniel Stumpf up in the bullpen.
That was Hosmer's first career grand slam.
Was it?
That's going to be it. Brad coming out now to get Soppold. Well, one of those nights here at the ballpark, and Soppold now is unable to get through the inning, so he will depart. And Daniel Stumpf will be coming into the game. It's going to be another wall side windows pitching change. We'll be back to Comerica. Miller time brought to you by Miller Lite. Remember this in '93? Canseco had the ball go off his head. Well, we had a similar experience last night.
No way.
Yep. And here's our Miller Lite moment last night. Alex Verdugo, who is the one of the best prospects for the Dodgers, hit one off the head of Zach Borenstein. But look how far he was off the warning track.
That's about 20 feet.
Unreal.
Did you see that swing by Verdugo, though? It looked just like Bellinger.
Yeah.
Cody Bellinger looked just like his swing.
Well, a grand slam by Hosmer now has given the Royals a 13-1 lead. Moustakas steps in against Daniel Stumpf. '25th appearance for Stumpf. Here's the 0-1. Outside, Simo as a former outfielder. I know that never happened to you.
Absolutely not.
But if it did, what in the world would that feel like?
Well, it wouldn't be a good feeling. Let's just say that. He butchered that ball, to be honest with you. You see the route that he took? I mean, you could put a tent around that circus.
Well, one thing, he will be able to see that for the rest of his life.
Yeah, that's not going anywhere. I mean, that might take the place of Jose Canseco ball that hit his head.
He must have a hard head, too. Man, that thing hit about 20 feet over the wall.
Oh, that was far.
Here's the 2-1 pitch.
Jeez.
Here's a high drive into deep right center field. Matuk going over to the gap to make the catch, and finally the inning is over. Frustrating night here at the ballpark. It's 13-1 coming up the Consumers Energy 7th inning stretch. In the 7th inning, and the Tigers battle the Astros this Saturday at 6:10. The first 10,000 fans receive a free James McCann removable mask bobblehead. If you'd like tickets, go to tigers.com or call 866-66-TIGER. Got some changes here. It's a well-signed Windows pitching change. Scott Alexander will come in now for the Royals.
Scott having a really good year and pitching in his 29th game. His ERA just a shade over 2. He's got 33 strikeouts. He's walked 18. And pitching out of the Royal bullpen, a bullpen that has been very good lately during the 7-game winning streak. They haven't given up a run.
Romine is pinch hitting for Miguel Cabrera here in the 7th. New shortstop as well, Ramon Torres. Romine, Castellanos, Martinez here in the Tigers 7th. Second time this year the Royals have scored 9 runs in an inning. They also did it June 10th in San Diego. They've got 18 hits tonight. That last one got the catcher Butera.
Yeah, he's feeling it too.
Home plate umpire DJ Rayburn giving Butera a few extra beats as he dusts off home plate. So Kennedy goes 6 innings in this game. Alexander takes over here in the 7th. Alex Avila has put on a helmet. Little chopper foul. Romine got a couple of starts against the Royals. Lefty Danny Duffy. That he started last night in right field. Again the 0-2 and a ball inside. Only 3 Tigers hits in this one. They got a single from McCann back in the 3rd. Then a single by Matuk, double by Iglesias. That's how the Tigers got their only run.
Tigers had been playing some pretty good baseball within their division, but the Royals have come in here and looking to sweep.
Ned Yost got to be feeling pretty good about tonight, and his team trying to win their 8th straight. Ball outside, 2-2 on Romine.
Tigers came in 24-21 in the division, which is the best record in the Central.
Chopped left side for Torres. Got to hurry, and he bobbles it. Romine saved it first.
That should be a base hit.
It's going to be a tough play even if he came down with it cleanly. Romine runs well. It was a high chop.
And not a clean exchange by Torres, but he would not have thrown Romine out.
There's Castellanos. They have ruled that a base hit. Nick sends a ground ball knocked down by Alexander. Might have cost himself a double play. Instead, everybody's safe. Threw it away, and Romine will go to 3rd.
Yeah, instead of getting a double play, Castellanos gets an infield single, and it's an error on Alexander as well.
It'll snap an 0 for 20.
This is a tailor-made double play. Torres, the shortstop, would have gobbled this up.
That'll bring up Avila.
Alexander had a little bit of a shaky outing here a couple of days ago.
Did he?
Yeah. Gave him a couple of inherited runners scored. First game of the series.
So now Avila will pinch hit for V-Mart.
As a matter of fact, it was Avila that got the base hit against him to draw up and drive in 2.
That's right. Alex batting .278. Ball 1 high. There's a ground ball to second, should be 2. Torres tags the back 1, and there's a double play. That'll score a run to make it 13-2, but the bases are empty now. No RBI for Avila. It'll bring up Matuk. Mikey is singled and a fly ball. He extended his hitting streak to 11 consecutive games with Mason in the 5th. Strike one. Way outside. Alexander now goes to 1 ball, 1 strike.
Alexander's got a pretty good arm. That last fastball, 95.
Ground ball to short. Torres ranging left. And that'll end the inning. Tigers get a run back, and we go to the 8th. Tigers baseball presented by Bell Tire. Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank, a part of Detroit and the community since 1849. Your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDetroit.com. See why Chevy drives to Motor City. And by Wallside Windows. We can do that. We are the factory. One of the few happy moments at the ballpark tonight.
Yes, indeed.
That young lady getting a souvenir. Otherwise, it's been all Royals here this evening. Romine will stay in the game. He will play first base. Ian Kinsler is out of the game, and Dixon Machado will play second. Daniel Stump back to the hill. It'll be Brandon Moss to lead things off for the Royals. Moss looks at ball 1 from Stump. RBI single back in the 3rd, one of the 18 Royals hits tonight. They are one shy of matching their season high. Moss, then Torres, then Gordon. Time called out as the Tigers shift defensively. Ball high.
Different shift here for the Tigers. Usually it's Castellanos that's over on the right side of the infield, and Iglesias stays home. But this time Brad elects to keep Castellanos on the left side of the infield by himself.
Take it all the way on 3-0, 3-1. Well, Rod, it does not get any easier with the Astros coming in Friday.
No, it's not. Astros, one of the best teams in all of baseball, and they're going to come in here and try to do exactly what the Kansas City Royals have done, and that's possibly sweep the Tigers. Tigers down by 11. Not likely they're going to come back today. Miggy's out of the game. Kinsler's out of the game. Victor also out of the game.
Leadoff man on. Moss gathers a walk. And here is Torres. First at bat for Torres, and Stumpf misses way high. 1-0. So Escobar is out of the game.
Tigers have a rare day off tomorrow. They'll be able to spend that day off at home. And usually when the Tigers have a day off, the team's usually traveling or it's on the road. But this is one they will be able to enjoy at home tomorrow, and it's one they're going to need.
Tigers had that grueling road trip coming up. They had a lot of long road trips early in the season. I kind of forgot this one is coming up.
Yeah, this is the last one.
They got 3 in New York, and then they go to Baltimore
for
4. 2 against Pittsburgh.
And then we come back home and play Pittsburgh. It's a 4-game series. 2-2.
Ryan Buchter warming up, the newly acquired Buchter from the Padres. Here's the 2-2, and it's looped into left field. That's going to be another hit for the Royals. Torres gets his first of the night. 2 on, nobody out. Here is the upcoming matchup presented by Wallside Windows. Dallas Keuchel coming off the disabled list to face Jordan Zimmerman.
Yeah, Dallas spent about 6 weeks on the disabled list with some neck discomfort. He was an all-star this year. He's 9-0 with a 1.67 ERA. He was probably the leader in the clubhouse and maybe winning another Cy Young until he went on the DL. And the fact that Chris Sale is just pitching out of this world right now for the Boston Red Sox. Corey Kluber also very good.
Gordon swings and fouls it off. He was hit by a pitch as part of that 9-run 7th inning that the Royals put up there. So for the second time this season, the Royals have put up 19 hits against the Tigers. Fouled away. Gordon does not have a hit. He's been hit by a pitch and he's walked. Gordon down on strikes, 1 gone. It'll bring up Butera.
Butera's had a decent day. He's walked, singled, drove in 2 and scored.
Filling in for Salvador Perez, who did not play today. And one of your better offensive performers doesn't play, and you put up 19 hits and 13 runs.
Yeah, that's the way things are going right now for Kansas City, looking to win their 8th consecutive game.
Royals trying to get over 6 over the 500 mark. Playing their best baseball right now as we head toward the month of August. Perez chilling tonight, enjoying the ball game. Fouled off. How about this stat here? The Royals have put up 19 hits 5 times since 2014. All of them against the Tigers.
No way.
Way.
They've done it 5 times, all 5 against us.
Detroit. Now the 1-1. High fly ball, center field, chasing Matuk back. That is the second out of the inning. Here is the Comerica Bank game summary tonight. Ian Kennedy went 6, giving up 3 hits, 1 earned run. He was supported by 13 runs on 19 hits. Royals offense, 16 of those singles. And Hosmer hit a grand slam. Two away now for Whit Merrifield. Merrifield looks at a strike. Walk by Moss, single by Torres, putting 2 more runners on for the Royals here.
This is the start of a very lengthy road trip for the Royals. And 3 here. They've got 3 in Boston, and they've got 3 more in Baltimore. So they've got a long trip too.
Now the 1-1. Ground ball up the middle, and a stop there by Iglesias for the force at second.
Boy, does he have a fast glove. Looked like that ball was headed into center field. He threw that glove out there and able to make that play.
He's having a great year defensively. Iggy stretching, flipping, out.
Call of the game with Merrifield, a very talented second baseman. He led off the game with a base hit, then he broke for second. He stopped, and James McCann noticed that he had gotten too far off the bag, so a snap throw by McCann. He got the ball to Miguel in 1.5 seconds. Miguel with an outstanding tag to pick off Whit Merrifield to get the Tigers out of that first inning. Nicely done by McCann and also by Miguel.
So the Tigers bat here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Ryan Buchter, and these are the numbers with the Padres this year.
Good numbers for Buchter with the Pods, and pitching in his 43rd game. A 3.05 ERA, a 120 WHIP, 47 strikeouts. averaging over a strikeout per appearance.
First pitch is looped in the air to shallow left. Gordon is under it. 1 pitch and 1 out. There were some strong outings last night, Ryan, from some big arms that right now are being coveted in the trade markets.
Bumgarner? They talking about trading Bumgarner?
Yeah, I'm hearing Bumgarner. He just came off the disabled list.
Really?
Don't know if that's going to happen, but Lance Lynn's name has come up.
I heard his name quite a bit. I've heard Sonny Gray's name quite a bit. Yeah, Bumgarner spent a lot of time on the disabled list this year. Therefore, he just got his first win last night. Had that dirt bike incident.
JV's name, of course, has come up a lot. Tigers saw Buchter when they played San Diego. That was back in the month of June. And he pitched well against the Tigers. Iglesias, an RBI double to not get a run. Chase one up. 94 from the lefty. Bruce warming up. One, two, the count stays. Bouncing ball to second. Couple of steps to his right in Merrifield. 2 up, 2 down.
And this is Madison Bumgarner last night. We just told you he got his first victory in last night's game against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Kansas City Royals, if they don't ever see him again, it will be too soon. What he did to them in 15. Was it 14?
14.
Royals won the World Series in 15.
Right. Ball 1. Dixon Machado getting his first at bat.
Dixon batting over 300. 316 to be exact. Slick fielding shortstop.
Buchter is going to get 3 outs. Fly ball, couple of grounders. We go to the 9th.
Call Sam update. Why don't you tell the kids at home why they should stick around for the Tigers Live postgame show?
Well, there's one good reason is that y'all get to see both of us. Guys, listen, Tigers had a tough night tonight. Give the Kansas City Royals a lot of credit. They came out and they poured it on. They continue to put up some runs against the Tigers. Keats, this was ugly.
All right, and you'll get the postgame reaction to this one from Brad Ausmus and Anibal Sanchez and others on Tigers Live right after the conclusion of this one. For the 9th inning, upstairs we go. Mario and Ron, gentlemen.
All right, guys, thanks very much. And Bruce Rondon now comes in for the Tigers here in the 9th inning.
Yeah, Rondon, good fastball, gets up to 99, sometimes triple digits. He's got a pretty good slider. Also a little two-seamer he's been throwing lately. Rondon had a little bit of a hiccup in Minnesota by and large since he's been back, though. He's thrown the ball very well.
Got to be very encouraged with the way he is, for the most part, commanded that slider. Fastball's always been there.
And he's throwing that slider in any count right now.
Ball 1 to Bonifacio, who leads it off. Kane to follow. Ball 2. And he goes high for ball 3. Tigers going deep into the bullpen tonight. Sanchez knocked out in the 4th inning. Bell. They've had Sappold. They've had Stump, and now Rondon. Three and one on Bonifacio. 2 singles, 2 runs scored RBI tonight. The difference, 9-run 7th for KC. Swing and a miss. 3-2. There's the other newly acquired pitcher, Brandon Maurer, warming up for KC.
They're going to let both guys get their feet wet with their new squad.
Strike 3 call. Rondon comes back to strike him out.
Bonifacio must be tired. He didn't swing the bat.
Fans, join us back here Friday night when the Tigers welcome in the Houston Astros. All your coverage begins with Tigers Live at 6 right here on Fox Sports Detroit. Astros Tigers 6 p.m. Friday night right here on Fox Sports Detroit. Bauer is going to give them another guy that can close games when Herrera is not available, like probably tonight, because Herrera had pitched in 3 straight. Here's a bouncer under the glove of Romine into right. Kane gets his 3rd hit. Now we talked about the Astros and the problem that they will present.
Altuve leads that bunch with a .364 average. Springer 27 home runs out of the leadoff spot, and Carlos Correa on the disabled list. He was playing like an MVP as well before he injured his thumb. They haven't missed a beat without him.
No, and I guess you think if there's a team that could survive a blow like that, it might be.
Is that another balk?
Yep.
Well, this game right here, man, tonight has not been pretty.
Second balk of the ball game. The other one was called against Sanchez.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was easy. Yeah. Came to a set.
Yeah, and then broke his hands again and stepped off.
That's as blatant of a balk as you'll ever see. Well, Hosmer's still up there swinging that stick.
Still slashing, man.
It doesn't matter.
He's already got 3 knocks in the game. He's hit a grand slam. He's had a monster series. He's having a good year.
4 for 5, a slam, 3 singles, 5 RBIs, and a stolen base for good measure. Rondon missing inside at 98. There's another base hit for Hosmer. He's going to get another run in. Kane will come around to score, and Hosmer has a 5-hit game.
Hosmer has raised his batting average 10 points here tonight with the 5 hits, and he's got a ton of at-bats too, so it's not the easiest thing to do to raise your average as much as he's been able to do.
That'll bring on Mike Moustakas. Man, that is a 21-hit night for the Royals.
Hosmer came in with 377 at bats, and he raised his average nearly 10 points today.
Second career 5-hit game.
Let me guess who it was against.
Go ahead, guess.
I already know.
Uh-oh, Moustakas hit by the pitch, and he doesn't like it. Now he's going at Rondon. The previous pitch missed inside. You could tell Moose was a little crooked about that one. And now both benches will empty.
What's the trainer doing out there like that? What's up with that? I don't think I've ever seen that before. Have you?
Honestly, no.
A trainer?
Moustakas slammed his bat to the ground, took 2 steps, then probably realized that's Rondon out there. Not sure he wanted a piece of him. Both benches have emptied. And what has been a frustrating night for the Tigers, Moustakas hit by the pitch. Took exception to that.
Rondon kicked out of the game? I guess so.
Yeah, he's been tossed. Umpires trying to sort this one out. Brad Ausmus out there as well. Rondon came inside on Moustakas on the previous pitch and then hit him, and you could tell Moustakas just kind of itching to let his feelings known. McCann trying to get between him, and Rondon giving it back. I think Romine's going to come into pitch. That's Danny Duffy, who is just livid.
Oh, that was Duffy?
Yeah, that wasn't a trainer. That was Duffy.
Oh. My bad.
So I think Romine's going to come into pitch here.
The way he was dressed, I thought maybe, you know, the look that he had, I'm thinking that in trainer's gear. That would have been the first for me.
So Romine now is going to get a round of applause here as he walks out to the mound. This is not new territory for Romine. He has done this in the past. There's Duffy right there. He got right in the face of Rondon, and Rondon just started pointing at him.
Duffy led the charge out there. Again, by the way he was dressed in the tennis shoes, I thought maybe it was somebody on the staff, but my apologies. Look at Greg Gibson trying to hold Rondon.
So the Tigers will give up the DH now. Sevilla goes to first base, and Romine will pitch. And it's turned into an ugly night here at the ballpark with the Tigers down 14-2, and they've got a position player pitching. Romine coming in. All right, time to hit the mound.
Take the tape off. Grab a different glove. Let's go. I'm already loose.
So here is Moss now. Romine gets the biggest cheer of the night. Here's Avila at first base. 1 out, 2 runners on, and a run in for the Royals. Tigers shifting on Moss. (14-2) KC. Ball 1. Single RBI for Moss. Swing and a miss.
Moss trying to hit it out. As a position player, you hate to hit against another position player.
It'll bounce in, go to the backstop. Runners are not advancing, though. Romine last pitched on June 18th of last year. Guess who against?
Kansas City Royals.
Kansas City Royals. The only other appearance was in 2014 in August against Minnesota.
I did not recognize Kansas City has had the Tigers number to the tune of some of the numbers that we've been spitting out here the last couple of innings.
Yeah, me either.
And we watched all of it too.
2-2 on Moss. There's a ball inside. The count goes full now. 3-2. Torres waiting on deck. Through that one on third. 88. I'll tell you one thing, Romine's going to feel this tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Another hack. That one at 87.
Romine going upstairs trying to get a strikeout.
Here's the high-low on
88 high, 75 to low.
And he walked him. It's going to load the bases now. With only 1 out. Here is Torres. Fouled back by Torres. Here is Romine's 0-1. Every team has a guy that in an emergency as a position player is designated to throw, and Romine has been that guy, as we mentioned a couple of times over the last couple of years. There's a line drive to right. That's going to drop, base hit. It'll score another run. Torres will get an RBI single. That's his second hit of the game, and the Royals now lead 15-2.
Hosmer has scored 5 runs tonight. What a day for Eric.
Well, the concern here as the manager is you don't want to get Romine hurt. You hope that he can get a couple of quick outs, but if the Royals continue to put base runners on there, tough decision for Brad. He wants to get Romine through this inning without getting him hurt. There's a swing and a miss. Driven to center field out of line. Matuk coming over, making the catch. Runner will tag and score. Sac fly for Gordon, RBI. 2 gone.
If Hosmer was a Tiger and you took him and picked the stick, you'd have racked up some points today, Mario.
How many?
20.
Oh man, has anybody ever had a 20-point?
You had a big day one day, didn't you?
I don't know about 20 though.
It was close. And one day you had 16 maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
We talked about him at the top of the show though, and just how good he's been against the Tigers and really against the league. He's a free agent to be, and somebody's going to get themselves a really good first baseman next year, if it's not Kansas City. Of all these Royals, which one do you think might be the most likeliest one that they could retain, re-sign, if they chose to do it?
Probably Escobar.
Escobar?
Yeah, for me it is. I mean, Hosmer, Moustakas, those guys they're going to really command some big time contracts. Here's a hit batter.
If you could keep one, would it be Hosmer or Moustakas?
I'd go with Hosmer. I mean, Hosmer just does so many different things.
He's a game changer.
So they're reloaded now. And here is top of the order. Merrifield, the batter. They bat around again here in this inning, and there's ball 1. That was the 16th, make it 17th pitch thrown now by Romine. Ball 2. Three more runs here in the 9th inning. Way up high, 3-0. Fire one in there, 3-1. If you're DJ Rayburn, you better be calling anything close to strike. High fly ball right field. Will chase Presley back, going to the warning track to make the catch. That'll end the inning. And Romine is going to hear it from the fans now. He'll get a nice round of applause for yeoman's work. as they are about to sweep the Tigers in this series, and between the innings and the half inning, just in case, TJ Rayburn went out to the mound. Mauer coming in, and no shenanigans, he says.
Well, he wanted to make sure that he knew that warnings had been issued.
So Mauer trying to get the final 3 outs. This will be his Royals debut.
Looks like Moustakas is over there talking to him as well, probably telling Mauer, don't do anything crazy. This is your first day with us. We don't need you to get yourself suspended by doing something stupid by throwing at one of these Tigers.
Presley will get it started now for the Tigers.
20 saves and 23 chances. A high ERA, though.
He's got a big arm.
Yeah, 95 with that first one.
Presley is 0 for 3. Oh, 1-2 as he drops in a slider on the outer edge. To left field, slicing. Gordon going over. It's foul. This, believe it or not, was a 4-1 game late. And then the Royals put up 9 in the 7th.
And the Royals have left 12 men on base.
I know it.
This could be a lot uglier.
Swing and a miss, and Presley is out, 1 gone. That'll bring up Justin Upton. Tigers with the loss here tonight, about to drop to 10 games under 500. Bouncing in 1-0.
And Justin Upton, the only veteran that stayed in the game. Everybody else departed.
The 1-0 pitch. Inside, 2 balls, no strikes. Three and 0. Royals made the move a couple of days ago to get the starter Cahill and a couple of really good bullpen arms. Here's a ball inside. Upton will get a walk here. 1 on, 1 out. Ian Kennedy is the recipient of all the offense tonight. He went 6 innings, allowing 1 earned run.
22 hits for Kansas City, 19 of those singles, 2 doubles and a grand slam. 19 singles.
Oh, and 1 on Romine. The first baseman turned pitcher tonight for the Tigers. Drive to center field. That's going to drop in. Base hit for Romine. 2 out now for the Tigers here in the ninth. So Romine picks up a base hit along with his pitching duties tonight. They'll bring up Castellanos, who snapped an 0 for 20 with an infield hit back in the 7th. Fouled away 0-1. Off day tomorrow for the Tigers, and then Houston coming to town before the long road trip commences on Monday.
Much needed off day for the boys after this one.
Mike Minor warming up in their bullpen. He went.
Pretty good slider there at 87 miles an hour.
Oh, 2 the count. Soft line drive to center. That's going to be a base hit. They'll hold the runner at third, and the Tigers now have loaded him up. 2-hit game now for Castellanos. That'll bring up Avila. Tigers trying to give something for these fans that have stuck around to cheer about here. 29,073 was the attendance tonight. Avila hit into a double play in his last at bat. He looks at a strike in the outside corner.
97. Pretty good arm. Really good arm, as a matter of fact.
Terra blocks that one.
Mauer doesn't appear to have a whole lot of command. A lot of moving parts too, as far as that delivery is concerned.
We dropped that one in there nicely.
He did. Nice little bender at 87.
Tigers faced Mauer twice in that series in San Diego. He nailed down a 1-2-3 ninth, and then the Tigers got him a couple of days later to snap that long losing streak. One and 2 on Avila. Did he go? No appeal. It missed high. 2-2.
Here's the Mauer delivery.
Swing and a miss.
99. Wow. You weren't kidding. This guy's really got a good arm.
Right at the knees.
So they got 2 guys in their bullpen to throw 99 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's certainly going to help them going forward. Much more depth now in their bullpen.
Nothing like having guys at the back end of the game that can miss bats. Guys that can get you a strikeout.
And I'm sure Mauer, who was closing in San Diego, didn't appear in too many 16-2 games. Another good slider. He had him buckled his knees. 0-1 on Matuk. Went around. 0-2. The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss. He struck him out to finally end this ball game tonight. Royals sweep the Tigers. After a short break, we'll send you to the Coliseum Studios, and John Keating standing by with Tigers Live postgame.